The Rum and the Mist show that you are currently tuned into will begin in about 5 minutes. Till then, enjoy this wonderful tune.
Why does a good man have to die? Another piece of shit to be born. Reasons unheard of tearing my flesh. My heart is ripped, my soul is torn. Another piece of shit to be born. Your soul is going, your pocket's all dry. My rage is made in the center of your eye.
Chris Stolle, presented by Realm of Myth Entertainment. That's a lot earlier than than the Ultimate Centaur. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Chris Stolle back with another Realm of the Mist podcast. Along with me, as always, is the lovely and beautiful Brian Miller.
Oh, you're so sweet. That did not go the direction I thought it was going to go.
And the father-to-be Venus. Wait, I think I confused that. I think I might have confused that a little bit.
Only slightly.
Well, it's 2019, so I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
you can't assume genders, Chris.
Yeah. Venus is identifying as a male, so she can go piss on the Alamo, but only in a sequins dress.
I identify as the CEO of Apple, so please start sending me my salary. That would be great.
All right, guys, we got a lot to dig in today, and I want to try to keep this under 2 hours, so here we go.
Good luck.
Well, since you heard us talking about Ozzy, we might as well start off with that one. Breaking news we just picked up. Ozzy Osbourne being rushed back to the hospital ICU unit. Unfortunately, condition seems to be worsening. Actually, he may have never left. Let's see here. Ozzy Osbourne rushed to ICU as health worsens. Now wife Sharon shares update with fans. Ozzy Osbourne is making a steady recovery at home, having been rushed to the ICU in the wake of the diagnosis with an upper respiratory infection that threatened pneumonia. Only days ago, there were fears that the rock star's health could worsen, but the latest, coming courtesy of Rolling Stone, is that he is out of the ICU and breathing independently. This is why you check sources before you report sources. This is absolutely correct. But the thing is that the headline was misleading.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the headline said that he was rushed to the ICU, but when you read the rest of the article, Sharon's telling you he's out and breathing independently. So actually, it's not that he's worsened; he's actually better and gotten out of the hospital. So you know what? That's great news. I'm glad that it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go.
Surprise ending.
Surprise. Look, I don't know. I don't care what style of music you are. Ozzy Osbourne is kind of a world treasure. He is the birth of heavy metal. With Black Sabbath. The man's had a career that spanned close to 50 years. I mean, I'll let you guys discuss your own views and opinions of Ozzy Osbourne, but I mean, the guy's a legend. The last thing in the world you want to hearing bad things about his health or his condition or possibility of dying, to me, kind of ranks up there if we heard Betty White was going to drop, or quite honestly, I think the death of Ozzy Osbourne, hopefully no time soon, knock on wood, would affect me the same way like Stan Lee did.
Mm.
What do you guys think?
Well, see, I'm kind of indifferent when it comes to Ozzy, just because, me, I'm a country guy. I didn't really grow up listening to Ozzy a whole lot.
Okay, but would you agree that it would be a loss of a legend or an icon? I do
agree with that. Yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah,
Definitely.
Well, that was simple enough. Again, read the articles before we. This literally dropped.
You're talking to a country boy and a Canadian girl.
Well, Canadians like Ozzy.
Well,
hey, look, Canadians have to like anything other than Justin Bieber. Why else did they kick his ass down here for us to deal with?
Actually, I used to get called Ozzy when I was 13 years old by my friend's drunk dad all the time.
Why?
It was the eyeliner.
Okay. I was about to say you look nothing like him.
Oh, God, no, it was the eyeliner, and she was always drunk, so good time.
I'll be honest with you, I am an Ozzy Osbourne fan, but if he looked like you, I'd probably have gone to more shows.
Jesus Christ.
Can you imagine a blonde Ozzy?
What's that?
Can you imagine a blonde Ozzy?
I don't have to imagine. You can look it up. 1986.
Wasn't he at one point?
Yes, he was during the Ultimate Sin era. He was rocking not only blonde but like the featherly blowout blonde. during the mid and
But
late '80s.
I probably would like confused him with someone else then.
So, all right, moving on. Other pieces of news. I'll get some bad news out of the way before we go into the silliness and then the politics. We'll save the politics for last. Because I imagine that's where we're really going to get involved. So, all right. So luckily that was bad news. Bad news that turned out to be good news. I didn't get a chance to read the article before we went on air. So these other ones more confirmed. First and foremost, the singer of Prodigy passed away today. Band has confirmed suicide. His name was Keith. I can't remember his last name. I don't have it in front of me at the top of my head. But I hate to say it, some people may remember Prodigy. Smack My Bitch Up and Firestarter were two big hits of theirs. I wasn't a huge fan. It sucks, especially when it's something like suicide. And I know he wasn't that old to begin with. I think maybe late 40s, 50-ish to begin with. But at the same time, kind of like what Brian just said, I'm kind of indifferent to it because I wasn't a fan of the music or the band in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, what do you think of the loss of the lead singer of Prodigy?
To be honest, I'm in the same boat you are. I really am. Like I said, I'm a country boy.
I actually just saw that meme today saying that he died, and I was looking at it like, okay, well, who is this?
well,
bad.
as I said, he's one of those people. Like, he was never really fully in the spotlight. I mean, the band was very underground. But if you heard, "Smack My Bitch Up" or "Firestarter," which both were really, I almost want to say they were kind of ahead of their time because they I know it's supposed to be like punk industrial is the style that it's supposed to be, but I'd say it's closer to the modern dubstep.
Yeah.
Which makes me hate it to begin with. But I mean, if you heard the song, you know the song, even if you don't know the band or the singer. It's what I was trying to say.
I believe I've heard you. You've played Prodigy on Raise the Underground before, haven't you?
Yeah, I got requested.
I thought
to do
you
it.
had, yeah.
I had to go search it out because it would never be in my personal playlist. Again, not a fan.
Right.
But thoughts and prayers go out to his bandmates, his family, his friends. And again, it raises the major awareness, guys. Suicide is a major epidemic in this world. I don't care who you are, whether you're a rich rock star or a shitty politician or just a dude who works 9 to 5. There's better out there than to take your own life. Seek help. Talk to somebody, whether it's calling an 800 number, going on a website, or just finding a good buddy or family member or something like that. Talk to somebody. The alternative, yeah, the pain ends for you, but it lingers for everybody else.
Yeah.
On that sad note, let's get the other sad note completely out of the way as well. 90210 fans and the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie fans and fans of the modern series Riverdale are saddened today as Luke Perry died today of a brain aneurysm, which I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but a couple days ago he was hospitalized for a stroke, and a couple days later he has an aneurysm go off in his head, and unfortunately he was 52 years old. Leaves behind wife, children, and a career. Guys, again, news about Luke Perry. How'd you guys feel about that?
Well, I should have had Kirsty sit in on this part of it because she's a big Riverdale fan. She's been watching Riverdale religiously, and she told me the other day that he was in the hospital. And I'm not real familiar with his work, but I know that she is. And then this morning we were sitting around drinking coffee and realized that I saw on Facebook that he had died, and I showed her, and she's like, "Wait, what?" And saw that they had shut down production on the show and stuff of what was going on. But like I said, I'm not real familiar with his work, but Kirsty said that it was kind of a big blow, as far as Riverdale goes, anyway.
Well, for Riverdale, yeah, because he plays the character of Archie's dad. But I mean, this guy was like I want to say a late '90s heartthrob with 90210 playing the character, I believe, of Dylan.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, so I mean, he was a big deal for quite a while, and then he kind of went into obscurity, but for the reasons of being because of he was a devoted father and husband.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course got roped into doing Riverdale. And that seemed to be kickstarting his career, and then all of a sudden this type of stuff happened. So, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the work that he did. I think out of everything he's done, the big thing that I enjoyed the most that he was in was Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, not that crap TV show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Who didn't like Buffy? What the hell?
But the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where he was the love interest to Buffy, you know, and it's the same movie where Pee Wee Herman played a vampire. I mean, you can't go wrong with that movie. But yeah, Venus, what about you? He was kind of you were kind of his target audience.
Yeah, you know what? I just got my daughter actually just started watching Riverdale today, which is like so weird to start watching it when like one of the main actors passes away. But yeah, I really like that show. Like the third season was just like ridiculous. But after getting up to that part, like the third season, you're like, now I have to watch like what could happen with this Gargoyle King shit and whatnot. It was pretty interesting. I liked his character too. Really calm and like, you know, got the church dad thing going on and everything.
Well, see, it does raise an interesting question. It does raise an interesting question for the show. Obviously, they're not going to cancel the show, but how are they going to handle the death of Luke Perry? Are they going?
Well, you know what? He got shot twice already, or no, he got shot once or twice. I can't remember, but yeah, he was a target for being murdered by Veronica's dad. So they just made a truce, like Veronica's dad and Archie. So you know that could be a huge plot twist all of a sudden.
That is true. I mean, I know nothing of the show. I've never watched. I've watched one episode of it, and quite honestly, I'm an Archie traditionalist, so it kind of pissed me off. You know,
yeah, it's got quite a different storyline going on, a whole different everything. But once you like get into it, it's like pretty much like any show, and I don't know. I'm like 30 years old, and it appealed to me. So
exactly, and you know, particularly Luke Perry, again, being a heartthrob for so many years, he's one of those like sexiest men alive type deal, even in his older age of 52. But the question still remains: do you think do they write his character as killed during the off season, or do they recast?
They could just kill him. Yeah, that would be the best thing. Like, he's been targeted for a while. There's been so much drama going on within his family, and like a bunch of mobsters, not indirectly. So I mean, it could definitely like fuel a lot of fire for the show, also.
All right, Brian, what about you? Would you, in that type of scenario, it's kind of the Leia conversation all over.
Yeah, that's what I was going to compare it to. I mean, it could be on a different scale as Leia then, because Leia was something that spanned, 40 years, and it's somebody that a lot of people grew up with, and maybe, I mean, how long has Riverdale been on?
3 years.
About 3 years.
3 seasons at least. Yeah.
3 seasons. I don't know. See, at this point, they'll probably, if that's the case, if he's been shot that many times, they'll probably kill him off. But I don't see anything, I guess, wrong with recasting him. I mean, maybe if I was a big fan of the show, maybe I'd have a different outlook on it. But just from the outside looking in, go ahead and recast him.
Don't recast him.
No?
No. In my opinion, no. Like, no. It's just so much going on. It's almost like the big finale of the whole show. So to recast him now, it would just ruin the whole show.
Well, there you go.
Fair enough.
You know what? I'm not a fan of the show, but I agree with Venus on that, because again, it's like the Leia conversation all over again. Would we even accept a recast of a beloved character?
Right.
Or even if it wasn't so much a beloved character, but such a recognizable actress.
Mm-hmm.
As Carrie Fisher was. It's kind of the same deal with Archie's dad in Riverdale. it's basically Luke Perry's part. Again, don't know the character that well. I like the Archie comics. I don't care for the TV show. That being said, though, that's his role, and could they even really replace him? You know what I mean? And should they even try? You know, it's really the question.
Not at this point.
And
Definitely not at this point.
That's what I was going to say. As far as I understand it from people that are fans of the show, he really did make that character his own. And it would probably be a terrible mistake, and I would feel bad for whoever tried to fill his shoes moving forward. I definitely think it's better for him to like die in a car accident or something like that on the show and just write the character off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's like so much drama going on. Like anything could possibly happen at this point, but I mean it's like season 3, episode 19 coming out, or 19 or 20. So no, you can't just go in now. I mean, like this show's gonna be done after the series, though, pretty much.
Fair enough.
All right, so again, thoughts and prayers from Realm of the Mist Entertainment to the friends and family of Luke Perry, and of course the fans. Quite honestly, this one I could definitely say, unlike the last one, he will be missed, because I know he had a very, very strong and dedicated fan following for many, many years. So, you know, thoughts and prayers to his family. All right, so now we move on to a little bit better entertainment news before we take our break and go into politics. Let's see. I got 3 of them here, and I think I want to start off with the one that'll probably be the shortest yet the funniest one to talk about. Wesley Snipes returning as Blade.
Fucking A!
In an R-rated Blade movie.
Fucking A.
Here's my question.
They all rated R?
Yeah, but I don't know if Trinity was rated R. I think that may have been PG-13, but definitely the first Blade was rated R. So,
I think Trinity was PG-13. Now that you say that,
you know, Blade 1 and maybe Blade 2 was definitely rated R. So my question is, although it's great to hear Wesley Snipes is back, it's great to hear that it is Blade, and as far as I understand it, he is going to be interconnected to the MCU, so he's part of the universe now.
So is this a reboot?
From what I read, they're not calling it a reboot; they're calling it 4.
So does that would, if this is part of the MCU, then the other 4 films are MCU films?
I guess.
That's what I get out of it.
Again, there's nothing reporting it one way or the other, but they are saying that it's bringing him into the MCU.
Right.
You know what I mean? So take that for what you will. Maybe they're going to do something in this movie that, even though it is Blade 4, kind of like erases the embarrassment of Trinity. Who knows? But my biggest thing I want to ask you guys is, didn't we already do an R-rated Blade movie? What's so special about this?
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, the great news, Wesley Snipes is back. Great. Because again, it's one of those situations I can't picture anybody else doing Blade.
Who has the rights to Blade? Is it back at Marvel Studios?
You'd have to look that up. I don't know.
Hang on, I'll look.
I'm pretty sure it was Fox, but I'm not exactly sure.
I thought it was too.
But then again, Disney owns Fox, so Marvel now has Fox.
They're getting ready to finalize that this week.
But while he's looking that up, like I said before, I couldn't imagine anybody else playing Blade. I mean, that has really been Wesley Snipes' character since the first time it was seen on screen. They did try a TV show and kind of a direct-to-DVD offshoot movie with another actor, and it just wasn't the same. So it is, to me, it's great news to hear that Wesley Snipes is back. But really, we have to make a big deal out of it that it's a rated R Blade. The first one was rated R, and it was great. It's probably one of the arguments I made about everybody saying, "Oh, Deadpool's the first rated R superhero movie." Really?
Okay, I got an answer here. Okay. It says by August of 2012, the film rights to Blade had reverted back to Marvel Studios. In May 2013, The Hollywood Reporter reported that Marvel had a working script for Blade. At San Diego Comic-Con 2015, Snipes told IGN that both he and Marvel were in talks about bringing Blade back to theaters. In 2016, Underworld actress Kate Beckinsale stated that Marvel was doing something with Blade after she was asked about a crossover between both franchises. So, as of right now, they're probably going to end up rebooting it with Snipes.
Why bother? Like I don't know. I could see. Look, I'm gonna use a DC thing, even though it's not part of the DCEU. I'm gonna use Superman Returns as an example, even though it's probably a terrible example. I'm gonna use Superman Returns as an example.
Jesus.
All right. Yes, we know Superman Returns was not well received, but Superman Returns was supposed to retcon Superman 3 and Superman, especially Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. That's why it takes place directly 5 years after Superman 2.
Mm-hmm.
If you're worried about Trinity, because let's face it, Blade 2 was good. Blade 3 was garbage.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, and the spin-offs, we don't even talk about those.
Spin-offs? What spin-offs?
The offshoots, the spin-offs, whatever
those
it was.
Those didn't happen.
Yeah, whatever it was, as far as we know, they never happened. Dollar store knockoff. So why can't this, instead of rebooting, just pick up where Blade 2 left off? Why not just retcon Trinity and move on?
I don't know. I just don't see them being able. I don't see them being able to do this without it being a reboot. I mean, otherwise they're gonna have to go back and say, look, the first 3 films were MCU films. Then, it'd be like, the only character you can get away with rebooting the character and keeping the same actor is Deadpool, and it's because of who Deadpool is. That's the only way you can get away with it. With Blade,
I did hear rumor, but I didn't put it on the show because I didn't know. I didn't know, first off, how true it was. I didn't get to research it. That Fox is in talks of rebooting the whole entire X-Men franchise, with the exception of Deadpool.
Oh, okay. Well, have Deadpool kind of be the usher of in the new one?
Right. Obviously, Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, safe and secure. But everything else, as far as the X-Men franchise, all new actors, all new story.
It needs to happen. Well, hell, we've already seen all of those 70s characters and 80s characters in Deadpool 2.
Well, again, not confirmed. This is only rumor at this point. That's why I was even hesitant to bring it up until we were discussing this about you bringing up the only person you can get away with is Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not wrong. But my point being is, if you're going to have the same actor who's now older play Blade, it seems right to just let the story continue, whether you allow Trinity to exist or not.
Then they're going to have to go back and say that those other films are MCU films then.
Why not? They didn't do anything that really would retcon anything that happened.
Contradict.
Yeah, contradict anything that happened in any of the MCU storylines, so why not? They happened.
That's true. You could. I mean, they could do it, but it's going to be one of those. I don't know. I don't know how fans are going to react. I mean, hardcore fans are going to love it. But general fans who just go see Marvel movies, because, even the general movie-going audience is like, ooh, Marvel movie? Okay, those are usually pretty good. They're not going to know these old Blade movies unless they do some, theatrical re-release of them and saying, oh, these are the new MCU films. We just digitally inserted Avengers Tower into the background.
Well, that might work.
What about you, Venus? Do you ever watch any of the Blade movies? Do you even care?
I did. I think I watched the last one, Trinity. But, I mean, I hardly, watch movies unless I'm, being, smothered by my children or something and having to sit there. Problems with ADHD. But, from what I remember, though, it's pretty okay.
There you go.
No complaints about it.
There you go. Blade 1, it becomes MCU property. Blade 2 becomes MCU property. We keep Ron Perlman. Blade 3, we have Deadpool show up in the beginning of Blade 4 and stop that from even happening. Nope, because Ryan Reynolds is in that movie. Nope, this didn't happen. Stop it. No, this is the real story.
Just have the whole. Look, I would pay to go see that. I would pay to go watch a 3-minute movie of them starting Blade Trinity, and then Deadpool just shows up, blows his fucking head off, and goes, "Not this time." Roll credits. I would watch that.
Are we basically making Deadpool in our own little headcanons here? Are we basically making Deadpool, thanks to Deadpool 2, by the way, because it's really
He's cleaning up the timeline.
He's an eraser to the pencil.
Yeah.
Anytime anything is wrong, just have Deadpool show up and fix it.
Yeah.
I see nothing wrong with this.
No, I'm cool with it.
Maybe he could start sliding into other Disney properties.
And it makes me wonder though too. Talking about Deadpool real quick. When you talk about how Deadpool is erasing some of these timelines and whatnot, and then you think about the end of Deadpool 2, and he's talking to Wolverine right at the end of Origins, and he's like just cleaning up the timeline, and he's shooting himself in the fucking head.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Look, someday soon you're gonna want to hang up the claws, but one of these days your old pal Deadpool's gonna come talk to you, and you're gonna say yes and get back on the wagon." And he's just like, "Oh, okay." It makes me wonder if Deadpool 3, he's going to come back to Hugh Jackman and go, "Dude, you got to do this one more motherfucking time." Like,
all of a sudden, while I'm listening to you, I just had the flash in my head about, like, you don't know what you're doing messing with the timelines. And Deadpool just turned around. Shut the fuck up.
Or somebody tells Deadpool, "You can't be doing this." He's like, "Just trust me, goddammit. I've seen things." You don't want to know where this goes.
Deadpool can do anything.
He's
seen
like
a future. Immortal.
I've seen a future that is dark and dreary because there's no Wolverine in it. You need to be Wolverine. And the whole time Wolverine's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
have Daniel Radcliffe show up for work like he's getting ready to play Wolverine in the next X-Men movie. It's just, no! He jumps right in his face, finger in his face. No! Bad! Go back to Hogwarts. Back. That.
What are you talking about,
Expecto
bub?
Patronum your ass that way. Okay.
What are you saying, bub?
What can Deadpool not do at this point?
No, Deadpool could pop up in the next fucking DC movie, and I'd be completely fucking okay with it.
That's probably how you would fix a DC movie.
You could fix a DC movie that way. You're not fucking wrong. It could happen, and I'd be perfectly okay with it.
Look, even the late Stan Lee had stated, "You want the best way to have a DC movie fix itself? Have me show up in it."
Yeah.
Stan was quoted. You want to fix the DCEU? Have me appear.
No, you're right. He was. He said that.
Hey, well.
That happened.
It is humble.
Make it happen, Hollywood.
That's it. Yeah. You know what? It could really start the What If series, the string of comics for a while that did have the DC Marvel crossover.
Oh yeah.
That would be pretty fun.
I'm cool.
All right. Well, speaking of Marvel, we got a little bit more Marvel to run into real quick. It has been reported that Marvel is looking to create another origin movie. This one may or may not have people excited. It looks like they're looking to bring us the story of the Silver Surfer.
I'm cool with it.
Oh, I'm excited for it, but at the same time, the last time we saw the Silver Surfer, it was in that Fantastic Four sequel.
Mm-hmm.
So, can we really be excited for this?
If you're doing Silver Surfer and you're not doing Fantastic Four, you can do Silver Surfer without the Fantastic Four. Yeah, no, you can do this because the story of Silver Surfer is really, really interesting when you really delve into it. You know what I mean? Like his history and what happened with his family and whatnot and why he works for Galactus. No, it's absolutely amazing.
Well, if anything, learn from the Fantastic Four sequel and learn especially from, again, we're back on Ryan Reynolds, learn from the Green Lantern and have Galactus actually appear in the movie. If you're going to involve him...
The Galactus, not a giant-ass fucking cloud.
Right. If you're going to have him in the movie, have him appear. Unlike Parallax and Green Lantern, unlike Galactus in the Fantastic Four sequel.
Cloud.
Rise of the Silver Surfer, where it was just a cloud. That's really what pissed off fans from those movies to begin with, because you weren't true to the source material in those aspects.
Right.
So learn from that mistake. If you're going to include Galactus in the storyline of Galactus with the Silver Surfer, which you kind of have to, make him the actual character and not just some omnipotent, spectral figure that's mythical and whimsical, and nobody's ever truly seen his form. If anything, learn what Thanos has done on screen and how good it was to have Thanos on screen.
Yeah, just don't. I didn't think Lawrence Fishburne was really a good choice for the voice, though.
Oh, of what, Galactus?
No, of Silver Surfer.
Oh, Surfer. Yeah, you're right. I forgot he was.
I don't think that was a really great choice. You know what I mean?
Well, who would you use? Morgan Freeman?
No, that's too cliche. He's right, you know. I don't know. I mean, there's so many good voice actors nowadays that you could get away with almost anybody. You know, part of me really wants to say James Earl Jones, but that's too fucking cliche too.
It's too recognizable. I wouldn't use James because James would Silver Surfer would automatically be Darth Vader.
Yeah, no, like Mufasa. Yeah. Man, I don't know. It's got to be somebody. It would have to be somebody with a very distinguishable. Oh my God,
Mark Hamill.
Well, no, I was gonna say Billy D. Williams. Billy D.
Hey, why not? I mean, he did
Billy F and D.
Why not? He did Two-Face in the Lego Batman movie.
Well, that made sense because he was Two-Face in one of the first Batman movies, and they replaced him with Tommy Lee Jones when they actually had to burn him.
Yeah.
Which was kind of handy, but I'd be all for Billy D.
Billy D.
Or even Harrison Ford. You know, he could fly up to Galactus and go, hey, I was on Earth, and man, they're making a lot of weird movies about, my son throwing me off of a railless, bottomless pit, and Indiana Jones 4. What is that shit? You need to go eat Earth. Like that's like Harrison Ford would just, hey, Galactus.
Yeah, I was looking at this planet, and I already don't like this. The penitent man kneels before God. I told you! Don't call me Galactus.
Don't call me that.
All right, so yeah, obviously the long and the short is that we're excited for it. Just do it right this time.
Fuck yeah.
I think if it's Marvel Studios doing it, which obviously it's going to be because those rights went back with Fox, it's going to be done right. As long as they don't make Silver Surfer some fucking black woman that fucking well, you know where I'm going with that.
Well, look. Even if Fox was separate but was working with Marvel, look at what Sony Pictures is doing with Spider-Man now, thanks to Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
They're finally doing it right. So they got the right actor, they got the right stories going on, they put him at the right age, and so I mean.
But Sony's not making any of those fucking decisions. Like. Sony, it's not like Marvel Studios took over. Sony's making the decisions, but nothing is getting past Kevin Feige if he doesn't want it to.
Well, that's
what I'm getting at.
No, that's the thing. Sony is getting the money for they're a library right now. They lent out the character and just collecting the reward, which is what Sony needed to do with that character because they were drowning him. Again, the Sam Raimi trilogy, I actually like the Sam Raimi trilogy of Spider-Man.
-3.
No, I didn't mind 3 so much. I just hated Topher Grace as Venom. The storyline of the movie itself didn't bother me. He bugged me. And of course the emo Peter thing didn't really sit well with me either. Amazing Spider-Man. Again, started off solid. What they did with the first movie was great.
Was shit.
2 was hot. 2 was there with Elektra, to me.
No, I'd watch Elektra again before I would Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh my God, it was horrible. So I mean, they always find a way of fucking it up. It's kind of the reason why I'm a little concerned about Far From Home.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've been on the right track with Spider-Man, with Homecoming, with Civil War, with...
it's about time they fuck it up, right?
Yeah, with Avengers Infinity War. Now we got another standalone Spidey movie, and the first thing we do is we put him out in the rest of the world outside of New York.
Well, think about it. I don't know if anybody realizes we've already got 3 movies with the new Spider-Man in it.
Yeah.
Think about. I mean, you don't really realize that until you really stop for a second and think. And you're like, well, fuck, he's already been in 3 of them. We've already had 3 appearances. You know what I mean? He's already had his own film. He was in Civil War and he's in Infinity War.
But in fairness, if you break it down to its essentials, he was in 2 full movies and 1 cameo appearance.
Right.
Because Civil War, he was a cameo.
It's time for him to fuck it up. Yeah.
Civil War was a cameo. It was to get you excited of the fact that there was a new Spider-Man. Then he got his own movie. Then he showed up in Infinity War where he dies. And probably one of the most...
Well...
Spoiler.
He's not dead.
He snapped. He got snapped.
He smoked. Yeah.
Yeah, he smoked.
Yeah.
So, he smoked. Obviously, we know he's coming back. It's Spider-Man. You don't kill Spider-Man. If you do kill Spider-Man, it's only because you're deciding to make way for something like the Miles Morales Spider-Man. No, that's not what I want them to do. But that's the only way I can see them killing Spider-Man right now. But that doesn't mean that Far From Home isn't going to screw everything up. Especially if Sony is in control of it.
It actually looks pretty good. Like, I'm not going to lie. That trailer, like, I'm taking my kids to see that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it looks good. But, you know, I've seen trailers for movies that looked great. Then I saw the movie.
Like, how can you fuck up a superhero movie? Like, it's got to be hard to do. Like, you have to get paid to do that or something.
She hasn't apparently seen Fan 4 Stick.
Or Batman v Superman pre-Ultimate Edition.
Just how can you do that, though? Like, it's a very simple concept. They fight, you know, a bunch of dramatic scenes and like, violence and superhero qualities when you think they're going to go down. I mean, the whole plot's, like, it's pretty well written in stone. Like,
well,
how can you fuck that up?
One of the ways you screw it up is you don't stay true in some way, shape, or form to the source material. It's the same thing you deal with Star Trek and Star Wars fans. Is that there's so much lore out there to the mythos of the characters of the world they live in, whatever. That you kind of like we were just saying about, you know, Galactus. If they made him a cloud in space as opposed to the character that's in the comics, it's going to piss the fans off again. Because the fans want to see what they've seen in the comics. So, of course, you have the creative license because of the fact that it's a 2-hour movie. You have to make it a little bit more exciting than just dialogue, as some comic books are. But you want to remain faithful to the source material because your hardcore fans are the ones that are going to critique the shit out of it if you stray too far. That's how you screw up. That's how you screw up a comic book movie. Is you piss off your core fans.
Look, when Fan 4 Stick came out, I remember everybody talking about how it was the worst comic book film ever, and I'm like, no, it's not going to be the worst. And then, but I didn't go see it in theaters. I waited for it to come out, and I think I actually watched the bootleg version of it. I think Kirsty's dad had it, and he was like, "You gonna watch the new Fantastic Four?" And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's just see how bad this really is. I feel like wasting 2 hours of my life. So we sat down, like, for the first hour and 15, 20 minutes. I'm like, I don't know why everybody's bitching. This isn't that bad. You know, it's a darker Fantastic Four. And then that moment hit, and you're like, I've never seen a movie derail so goddamn fast. It was literally in the blink of an eye. It just, got it. I didn't even have to watch the last, like, 45 minutes. I was like, got it. I see why. Okay. And then I watched the last 45 minutes, and I've never seen a movie ever, forget comic book movies, I mean movies in general. I've never seen a movie that had a pivotal, there it is, derail moment. And that was the one. And I was like, holy shit, what the fuck are they thinking?
It really is like, you know, take one of the most iconic movies you could think of, like Gone with the Wind, when Rhett Butler turns around and says, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn," and they break out into a porn session. Yeah. That's the type of derailment we're talking about for these types of films.
No,
and again,
you're right.
And when we're talking about comic book movies, I was just thinking about this too. Everything seems to derail at threes. That was the third, even though it was a reboot, that was the third Fantastic Four movie. And it was garbage. We were just talking about Blade. Trinity was the third movie, was a hot mess. Spider-Man 3 was a hot mess. And now we're looking at the third full appearance of Spider-Man with Far From Home. Is the tradition going to continue? X-Men 3. Do I need to say more?
I don't know. Look at Iron Man 3.
Even Iron Man 3 was considered the worst of the Iron Man trilogy. I mean, it didn't derail the MCU, thankfully, but it's considered the worst of the 3 Iron Man movies.
Yeah.
So,
No,
Like,
I don't know.
what if they did just get so far with it, you know, and then just think, yeah, we're just gonna like chop it up to this and like mash up together and you know fucking.
Well, what happened with
we could do
Fantastic
anything
Four?
now because we have fans.
What happened with Fantastic Four was it was Josh Trank was directing, and I guess there were reports of him showing up drunk every morning and just hung over, you know, from everything, and apparently the studio, there were too many hands in the cookie jar and too many chiefs and not enough Indians, and apparently everybody wanted their say, and they used everything Josh Trank was doing up to a point, and then the studio said, okay, stand back, hold my beer, watch this shit. And they were going for like the whole like plot twist, blow your fucking mind. That they succeeded, but not in the way that they actually, I think, planned.
They wanted the Empire Strikes Back, Luke, I'm your father moment,
right?
Or the Spock dies in Wrath of Khan type moments, and the only comic book movie that's been able to pull that off, honestly, is Infinity War.
Right.
A lot of the shit in Infinity War, you sat there going,
Dark Knight did it too a couple times.
You think so?
I think so, because I remember going to see the Dark Knight. Dark Knight, you know, like when you talk about Lord of the Rings, how it's got like Return of the King's got like 7 endings. Dark Knight for me, like we got to the point where Rachel dies, right, where she blows up, and he's going for Rachel, and you thought he was going to get her, and then he was at the wrong location, and I honestly thought that was going to be the end of the movie, and I'm like, oh my god. Oh, holy shit, she just fucking went up, like, and you know, and then you start thinking about what that's going to do, because nobody knew Two-Face was going to be in The Dark Knight. Everybody was focused on Joker. Two-Face being in it was just this complete out of left field thing. And then there's another 45 minutes to the fucking movie.
Well, see, we can make an argument. We can make an argument to that, because I don't agree with you. Like, it was a fucked up moment, sure, but it wasn't a I'm your father moment to me, because I knew Rachel was going to die, and I knew that would be the catalyst for Two-Face.
I guess I just missed it.
Even if the movie ended right there and Two-Face was saved for the next movie, it's like it's still. I knew Harvey wasn't going to die. Somebody had to. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I really thought he was going to get there in time, or that Harvey was going to be the one to go. You know. Well, see, I wouldn't have been surprised had they killed Harvey, because they were, you know, it was. We've seen them kill comic book characters off before they actually become who they're supposed to be anyway. You know, it's how many times do you see a comic book movie? We've got hundreds of issues of them fighting this superhero over and over again, but then they die in the first movie they appear in.
Well, true. I mean, hell, Tim Burton was famous for that. He killed off pretty much everybody in the Batman mythos.
Right.
But then then Schumer got a hold of it, and we won't go there again.
Schumacher,
whatever. The fucking bat nipples.
I'm surprised the Batmobile didn't have fucking nipples.
If they would have done a Batman 5, it probably would have happened.
And those high beams down.
The nipples had nipples.
Well, if they would have put nipples on the bat suit again, I know something that would have ripped them off.
That was, you know what, when they were talking about Batman v Superman, before we even knew what Ben Affleck looked like as Batman, right? Before they even showed us what the suit looked like, we were all chomping at the bit like, what the fuck does he look like? I remember Kevin Smith got to see the picture before anybody else. And he was telling everybody, he's like, I can't tell y'all what it looks like. He goes, but I can say this much. It was the most badass, most true to the comic bat suit I've ever seen in my life. And there wasn't a fucking nipple anywhere on it. Like that's exactly what he said. And we were all excited about it, you know, and then they teased the picture of the Batmobile under the tarp. And then the next day they released that photo of Batman standing next to it. And I about shit my fucking pants.
He really
that motherfucker,
did look the part.
It was, and then to realize that there was no padding in that suit, and that was all Ben Affleck.
That boy buffed himself up.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, most comic book superhero movies, the actors, the suits are padded. Like, even if they're in well shape, they still define them with padding in the suit, in the spandex. Ben Affleck is Batman in Batman v Superman and in Justice League. That's all Ben.
That's Ben.
Well, that definitely changes how I feel about him.
He did ungodly things to get in shape for that role. And it was just, I mean, as soon as they released that picture, the first thought was, wow, that's a seriously padded up bat suit. And then he came out and was like, no, that's all Ben. That's flesh. That's beef. And it's like, holy fucking shit. This guy is going to make people stop fucking breathing.
Right? Like, he beefcaked the shit out of himself for that role, which is why it's so surprising he's walking away after so much dedication you gave to it. You're going to walk away?
Right.
But we've already had that conversation. As I said, if they ever decided to put bat nipples back on the bat suit, first off, we know Luke Skywalker would probably milk it. Yeah, I've seen that meme. That's hilarious. But also, I think I know something, which is our next story, which would bite them off to make sure they wouldn't exist anymore. There was a time when horror movies could be campy, could be a little out of the blue, could be even a little B-rated, but at the same time stand the test of time and become absolute classics. And sometimes those classics from 20, 30 years ago make a return onto a channel called Shudder.
Yes.
A long time ago, there was a let me paint the scene for you. It's like the late 80s, early 90s. You set the scene at this little farmhouse out in the middle of freaking nowhere, and an alien ship crash lands. And out comes these little puffballs that have spikes on their back and teeth. And they are being hunted down by these intergalactic bounty hunters who can change their appearances at will just by staring at people or pictures to be able to emulate what those things look like. Well, this poor family gets torn apart by these little creatures with teeth and spikes and roll around in balls. It sounds like an easy concept, but let's face it, it was a beautiful, at least first two movies. I'm talking about Critters, and it is returning to Shudder. Brian, I know you want to talk about this. Go ahead, man.
Yay! Look, okay, so there was before my dad died, he wasn't a big movie fan, right? But he liked things like Lethal Weapon, Beverly Hills Cop. You know, he was into movies like that. He wasn't big into Gremlins or anything, you know, sci-fi-ish, but there was one set of movies that scared the ever-loving shit out of him, and it was called Critters. And to the day he died, he loved that series so goddamn much. And he introduced me to it. And you want to talk, you know, I talk a lot about how Gremlins gave me nightmares. Fuck Gremlins. Let's talk about Critters for a fucking minute, because these were, Jesus God. You know, things didn't get real bloody with Gremlins. They did with Critters. Dude, I'm so stupidly over the fucking moon for this. And you know, I watched the trailer for it, yesterday?
Right.
And they're even doing the practical effects thing. You know, they're going back to what made it great. They're doing exactly with Critters what they should be doing with Gremlins.
Oh, yeah, it's hand puppets. It's hand puppets all over again.
So stupidly excited for this, dude. I don't care what channel this is. I'm going to find a way to get this fucking channel just for Critters. I don't even fucking care. I don't care whose dick I gotta suck to get this fucking channel. I'm going to watch fucking Critters.
Well, you know, you could always call your cable provider and request Shudder.
I don't have cable.
You could call your Verizon. You can call your Verizon subscriber.
Oh my god, I'm so fucking happy.
Or DirecTV or whatever the fuck you have. You could do it legally.
I know.
Or you could find a Roku or Fire Stick and have it cracked. But I didn't say that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know, yeah. Venus, what about you? You like horror movies? Have you ever seen The Critters?
I love horror movies. Yeah, I've seen The Critters like probably years ago. It's probably something that died like with the generation of my time, like around Pet Cemetery, though. So I mean, something I gotta like watch up on again.
By the way, in the meme you just shared to us,
out.
critters all day.
Critters.
However, if we're not talking about like the evil gremlins and we're talking about Gizmo, then you can't mess with Gizmo.
Stripes was a bastard, dude. That's all I have to say.
Gizmo, when he dressed up as Rambo after seeing the Rambo movie.
Oh, in the little RC car?
Yeah.
I fucking love Gremlins too. My God.
See, I remember that movie, but I guess like Critters wasn't like as advertised, or like it just didn't stick with people as much as Gremlins did.
Critters
Gremlins
was more of an adult Gremlins.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Gremlins was like iconic. But Critters, yeah, no, I wasn't even born when Critters came out.
Neither was I, but I love it.
I was just born in the 90s, so I mean, there was a lot of like, at my home it was like, at 6 years old, even like no Simpsons because of the language. So to even watch Gremlins, like I had to sneak out and like be at a friend's place and be like, don't tell my mom we're watching this. So I mean, I really didn't get to watch a lot of movies as a child. Pet Cemetery I got to watch though, and Creep Show and stuff like that. But my dad was a little bit more twisted than my mom was. So when my mom was around, I mean, it was a free for all, but.
Yeah, Mom, we're watching My Little Pony. Quick, turn it over.
Oh my God! Like, thanks for the ride, lady. Like, holy crap, way to scar a child for the rest of their lives.
What's that pony doing to that guy's throat?
The
opening of Pet Cemetery, and then it's like, well, you wonder, like, my mom's wondering why we're so terrified of dolls. It's like, well, I don't know, maybe the opening fucking scene of Pet Cemetery that we're not allowed to watch.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Like, I'm all about horror movies. And I'm all about the Critters. And when I was watching the preview, before I even told Brian about it, when I watched the preview and all that, I was thinking at first that it was going to be really campy of a TV show. I was thinking like Ash versus the Evil Dead type.
Right. It's got to be somewhat campy. Because of what it is.
Don't get me wrong. I love Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It's a great TV series, but I was thinking more comedy, less true source material.
Yeah.
And when I said, honestly, the point that got me, like you said, they're using practical effects, they're using the hand puppets and everything else. What got me was seeing that fucking ball of them.
Yes.
When they combined together and
Nailed
made a
it.
giant ball, and all I thought was Critters 2 rolling down the street,
Yes.
rolls over a dude and leaves a skeleton behind him. I'm like,
yes! Nailed it!
I'm looking on Google right now at Critters pictures, and honestly, when you said the ball, like it was I was looking right at the picture of the ball, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Fucking
that now.
Critters.
Right
Oh my God.
right at literally that point, I was sold. I said, bring me this show.
Make this happen. No, like I said, I just watched the trailer yesterday.
Oh my
and I
God!
was
Look at
laughing.
the picture she just shared.
Yeah,
in
I
this
saw
chat.
that.
Oh,
I was that's the pure image of fear.
right?
You know what I mean? Like I could not stop fucking laughing and just utter joy watching the trailer yesterday for the first time. I was just like, this is really fucking happening. This is really fucking happening. You were fucking kidding me, dude. If my dad was here right now, oh, I wish to God my dad could be here to see this.
Well, you know what the big thing that makes me so happy about it, besides the fact that it is Critters and they are being true to what Critters was, what makes me thrilled about it is this is something that came out of left field. I never thought it would come back. I didn't think it had that big of a following. I really thought that maybe Critters was a little bit of a cult classic, but most people, even most people that are big horror fans, don't even remember it.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what? I want to get my sister-in-law to watch this now.
So I just came across this article saying that the Annabelle creation director wanted to crack at Nightmare on Elm Street and Critters, and this is from August 2017. So maybe there's a Nightmare on Elm Street.
They better go right.
I've heard many rumors about Nightmare on Elm Street. I've heard rumors that
Freddy,
they wanted to
Freddy's my
reboot it
boy,
again.
so.
I did hear they wanted to reboot it again, but then I also heard they want to do one more with Robert Englund.
Well, it's from the director of Annabelle. So
It's got potential.
Never
Yeah,
saw
definitely.
Annabelle, so I don't know.
It's got potential. I'll say that much, yeah.
It's pretty creepy, yeah.
Look,
like, even the whole story behind it is pretty messed up.
If we want to be true and honest, I didn't, and I know I'm going to get shot for this. I didn't hate the reboot of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Let me
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me put the little asterisk in there though. But the Haley guy that played Freddy,
yeah,
I hated him.
He was second in line back on the originals to play Freddy, but they picked Robert over him.
Right. No,
so that this was their chance to come back and actually use him.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, if they would have had Robert Englund in that rebooted film, it would have been a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I thought the script was good.
Right.
I thought the story was right. I just hated who they picked to play Freddy. He didn't deliver correctly at all.
It was a different kind of Freddy too, because in the old Freddy movies, you know, he was this murdering pedophile, right? And they focused more on the murdering aspect of it. This one, they really focused heavily on the pedophile aspect of it. And
they never even in the original movies, they never really touched on the fact that he was a pedophile. Like it was insinuated, but it was always a child murderer.
Right. The reboot, it was very front and center. You know, that was the reason the parents murdered him, and you know what I mean? But I didn't mind the reboot, and I was kind of hoping they would do another one, and they never did. But you know what? If they're going to reboot it again, fuck me. Give me all the Freddy you can, because Freddy is my boy, dude. Any horror film, just showdown, I'm putting all my money on Freddy every fucking time.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of right there with you. I mean, as far as reboots go, it's kind of weird and kind of funny. I didn't mind the Nightmare on Elm Street. I didn't mind the Friday the 13th reboot. Again, may not have been as good as the originals, but you know they were fine for what they were. I loved Rob Zombie's Halloween. I actually here's where I really get shot. I liked it more than John Carpenter's original.
Ooh.
I still don't like the original Halloweens. And I didn't see the need for the reboot of it again. I thought Rob Zombie's was great. But since they got rid of Doug Bradley playing Hellraiser, I haven't watched a Hellraiser movie because they've been fucking garbage.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been good since Hellraiser 3, let's be completely honest.
Yeah.
You know, but since they replaced the actor, they're not even worth being, you know, straight to Walmart's clearance rack movies.
To the $5 bin.
They're not even worth that. They go to the $3.74 bin.
Yeah.
They have that?
Yeah, they have that.
Like what?
It's called Netflix.
Yeah.
I love that $5 bin at Walmart. Like they've got such like old movies and stuff sometimes. Except you're not gonna find on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I think I bought the Goonies there, so.
The Goonies. We could go into the Goonies.
Got it on Blu-ray.
But all right, guys, we're gonna take.
They need a remake of that.
But we're gonna take a quick moment break here for our little sponsorship, and when we come back, we're gonna go into the meat and potatoes of the show. We're gonna get into a little bit of politics. So, trigger warning: we're probably gonna piss you off, but that'll be right after this.
Hi, this is Dave from the Comic Collection at 83 Bustleton Pike in Feasterville, Pennsylvania. Our phone number is 215-357-3332. We're right next to Northeast Philadelphia. We have action figures, gaming, statues, albums, and CDs, graphic novels, other knickknacks, and, of course, comics. Established in 1985, we are your go-to store. Come by and say hello. And say that the guys from Radiocast FM Radio sent you. The address again is 83 Bustleton Pike, Feasterville, Pennsylvania, or call 215-357-3332.
And welcome back, Venus, Brian, and myself back for part 2 of Realm of the Mist podcast. We're still sitting here talking about critters. Go ahead, Brian. You can continue to say what you were saying.
Oh my god, dude, Critters! I'm so fucking ready. Look. Very rarely will you ever hear me say that I'm so ready for a horror movie. I'm ready to lose sleep again.
Really, eh? It's that good.
It's that good.
I don't think I've lost sleep in a horror movie since The Fourth Kind, and then I stopped watching horror movies for 4 years.
Oh,
afterwards.
Fourth Kind was fucking creepy shit, dude.
Oh my god, and
Hey.
that just ruined my whole mentality right there. Like, I sat up all night that night. Like, I had a newborn daughter, and I just sat there. I'm like, I'm not fucking sleeping tonight. I'm not fucking doing this shit.
That movie made me question everything I thought I knew about aliens.
Oh, right? Like, I don't even know what kind of aliens those were that were, like, abducting these people, but...
That was more of an alien possession thing, but...
demonic aliens, like...
Yeah, a demon possession thing, yeah.
I know, like, that was just a horror movie I've been waiting for to be like, okay, my mind's, like, cracked now to all the possibilities, like, bring on the horror, like, I'm not losing sleep over anything anymore.
Yes.
I am. I'm so ready for it. I'm so ready for it. You give me the movie that ruined me for the longest time. I've said it numerous times on these podcasts. Is Jaws. I saw it when I was 5 years old, and the first one, not the subsequent garbage that followed, but the first original Jaws. That movie made me start taking showers because I was afraid that shark would come up in my bathtub through the drain and eat me. Like I was scared to sit on the toilet for the same reason. Yeah.
I was afraid to sit on the toilet because of Dreamcatcher.
That whole bathroom scene, like the bathtub scene of like something coming up and like grabbing someone. I think the first time I saw that was like in Rugrats, the TV show, when one of the kids was taking a bath and like some hand came up and like grabbed it. And I'm like, oh my god, like. And you know what? I was like only a kid, and like the Rugrats, you think it's just a cartoon for kids? Like, hell no, I would not like sit in the bath after I pulled the plug out after watching that. And like we had crazy ass cartoons when we were kids.
Well, it kind of brings up the point. Like, is Critters a good idea? Well, obviously it is because we all agree on it. But like, what I mean is of bringing back these lost style of horror. Like,
yes.
Like should we bring back some of the more B-rated horrors, the less spectacle ones? Maybe like Invasion of the Body Snatchers or Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, The Blob. Should we start seeing a return to the old-fashioned, for lack of a better term, serial style B-rate horrors?
Yes. I'm going to say yes because look, we got Ghostbusters 3 coming. We've got Ghostbusters 3 coming next year, right?
All right.
We've talked about this. There's certain things they have to do with Ghostbusters, and one of them is practical ghosts, not the CG Scooby-Doo looking bullshit. I'm talking like some serious fucking claymation ghosts, some nasty ass fucking puppets that have this weird kind of glow about them. That's what the fuck we want. I don't give a shit what 2016 did. I want fucking classic Ghostbuster ghosts, and it's not just Ghostbusters either. It's all these other series, that they're trying to reboot, like Tremors, dude. If there's talk that they're going to reboot Tremors and go back to what made Tremors fucking great in the first place. Sorry, I had to rant.
In this day and age, though, can they really do it? Like the biggest thing I'm worried about with Critters is doing the right thing in my mind, in the sense that they are rebooting it or not. I can't even call it a reboot because I don't know if it's a reboot. But to me, they're doing the right thing by releasing it to TV, so you can get away with the more, for lack of a better term here, campy effects. Look at again. I'll use it as an example: Ash versus the Evil Dead. Now we know Evil Dead and Army of Darkness, campy as all hell. B-rate to the bone. Mm-hmm. But, it was acceptable back in the 80s when they made those movies. Bringing the series back, the campiness made sense in the fact that they made it a little bit more comedy, number one. Mm-hmm. And number two, they did it to TV, straight to TV, instead of trying to get away with a movie.
Right.
Would the average movie-going fan who has been extremely spoiled by special effects and blood and gore out the ass with these gore fest slasher films that have been recent, would they accept going back to traditional practical effects? Would they go back to the hand puppets and the splash of Kool-Aid on a white sheet?
You're talking to one. You're talking to me. Yes. Fuck yes. Make that shit happen.
Anyone over 25 is going to be into that shit.
Fuck yeah.
Like, that, you know how much big of an audience that is? Like, we've got millennials there. Millennials are the biggest generation. Yeah, we want to see that shit. We want to see that shit that, like, scared us as a kid. We want to see it make us laugh now. We would love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with her. Yes.
I really expected a little bit more opposition, or at least some consideration of. You're right, because some
you don't know a goddamn thing about me because.
Well, no. I know you and I are excited, but I'm talking about like the general movie-going audiences that consider shit like for the best example, shit like fucking Final Destination being like the premier fucking horror movie, which, by the way, they're garbage. Or
fuck them. This is for us.
Or what was the other one
like,
that was big for a while?
Paranormal
Activity.
Like at my age right now, like watching like the new Incredibles movies come out, or like anything like when I was younger, when I was a kid. We don't give a fuck about what the younger people want.
Fuck no.
This is for us. We'll bring our kids to see these movies because they're that old. But these are our movies, okay? And we want them back. And we want to see what made us happy when we were a kid. Like when life was stress-free. We didn't have to deal with fucking Trump and AOC and fucking other politicians in the world. We want simple life back, okay?
Hey,
that would be our release from reality.
You know these memes you see? Like, Toy Story 4 is coming out later this year. When you see, adults posting, hey, when you go to see Toy Story 4, leave your fucking kids at home because this is for us, not them. They're not fucking wrong. That is straight the truth. Leave your motherfucking kid at home. Don't you be picking them up in the middle of Toy Story 4. They don't know what the fuck happened. They didn't grow up with 3 other fucking movies before this. You let them grow up the right fucking way. Watch 1, 2, 3, then 4, motherfucker. Don't be bringing your 5-year-old who doesn't even know how to say Buzz Lightyear into Toy Story 4. Sorry, I
haven't seen that one. That's a pretty hardcore, but... Something along the lines, yeah, totally.
Don't hold back, Brian. Tell us how you really feel.
I just did, God damn it.
But no, I'm with you. Give me practical effects. Give me the rotating room on a gimbal that pours out the blood through the bed. Yes. Give me the real horror back.
There was something magical about it back then. It looked real.
Give me some of the campy shit. Give me the 80s movies back. I know I'm going to get shot for saying this, but reboot fucking Goonies if that's what it takes, but give us the magic back.
You do not use the R word with Goonies.
No, but you get my point. Like, give me those style of movies back. Like, it doesn't even have to be horror. Like, we could give me the Buddy Kids coming of age movies again. Give me a sequel to fucking Monster Squad.
Oh, God, yes.
I want to hear a new generation of kids yelling to kick the Wolfman in the nards.
Yes!
If you really want to impress me, give me those movies back. And I'm absolutely with you, 120,000%. But the question remains, is it enough of a gamble for the studios?
Oh, fuck yeah. We're going to be going once. We're going to be going twice. We're going to be going 3 times. We're going to be buying it on DVD. It's fucking worth it.
Oh, yeah, no, straight up. Because when Ghostbusters comes out next year, you bet your ass I'm taking a week off and I'm just going to be getting back in line over and over the fuck again to watch that shit.
Worst episode ever.
Right?
Worst episode ever. I will only see it 3 more times in a row today.
Today.
Oh, Jesus. See, I'm almost hesitant to go to the part of the show we're at now because I'm enjoying this part, and I know I'm about to piss us off.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta do what we gotta do. Well, let's get the Let's get the short one out of the way first. There is a judge who is actually fighting the ruling for the ISIS bride, the girl from Georgia, the Muslim girl who left the United States, renounced her citizenship to go get married to an ISIS soldier, have his kid. He died. She married another ISIS soldier. He died. Married another ISIS soldier. He died. Blah, 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 blah. And now she's claiming that she fears for her life and wants to return home.
Oh, poor her.
Yeah, of course, there's a similar story going on with another ISIS bitch who is doing that in the UK.
And in Canada, too.
And in Canada, too. Look, you could pretty much guess that in the way that I just said ISIS bitch. Obviously, I have no love for this. Quite honestly, the story here that we're going to talk about, because we already know that all of us here are like, no, don't bring the bitch back. If you're going to bring the bitch back, bring her back for the firing squad. Because that's what you do to traitors. You fucking shoot them.
Well, everyone's asking, like, why are they sending them back anyways? And I'm like, you know what? It's pretty obvious. First off, men aren't getting to the women here. Men aren't getting to the general population here in, like, these countries. So what do? You send back someone who's converted to their fucking witchy ways and convert their fucking neighbors, their girlfriends, you know, stuff like that. And then they're going to go and convert their husbands. But you know what it is? It's a fucking... It's like a landmine. Like, that's what we're going to be stepping on. Like, it's just one of those secret FBI agents coming in to corrupt everyone type of thing. Like,
exactly, sleeper
honestly,
cells.
Straight up.
Female sleeper cells. Now we're talking about people, terrorists who have used women and children as suicide bombers, as meat shields. So you think it's unheard of to send them in as infiltration? I mean, absolutely
not. I know this Canadian girl, like, and she's just converted to Muslim, and she's, oh my God, brainwashed with freaking tea. Like, I wear a hijab for my God. Okay, well, what would your God do if you didn't wear it? Like, why do you, like, oh, I don't even know where to begin. And I'm like, bitch, please, like, you're not fooling me. I'm not wearing that thing. I'm not converting to your shit. And they just lose it when you tell them that.
Well, yeah.
Always gonna get you. Well, Satan's gonna get you, bitch. So, I mean, we're on equal terms now, right?
Well, I love how they try to pretend that Islam and the Muslim faith is like one of the oldest religions. First off, it's one of the youngest. It's also one of the most radicalized. And it was created by a person who was completely insane.
With like 9-year-olds.
And like the diddle 9-year-olds. Like, he was a pedophile Hitler. Let's be real. That's what Muhammad was.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, first and foremost, I want to address something, because this has really pissed me off as of late. Before we even get into the judge thing, I want to talk about Islam and Muslim for a minute, because we're being told and being brainwashed in this society that Islam is an ideology, which it is, and Muslim is a race. It is fucking not a goddamn race. It is an ideology. It is what you call yourself when you worship Islam, just like Christians worship Christianity, or whatever form of Christianity they may worship, whether it be Protestant, Lutheran, Catholicism, whatever the case may be, they call themselves Christians. Well, there's different forms of Islam, but all of which call themselves Muslims. It is not a fucking race. So it is not racist for me to call out Muslims for what they are.
Muslims.
Oh my God, it's Family Guy right there.
Muslims.
Am I wrong in this? It's not a race.
Not.
I'm sorry, I'll make the same argument to Jews. Jew is not a race.
You better watch yourself, buddy.
No, I'm not picking on Jewish. I'm not picking on the Jewish faith. No, I know. I'm not picking on the Jewish faith, but Jews is a religion.
Is Jen Jewish?
Jen and her father are Jewish, yes.
Yeah,
but
the
fact of the matter is they are still Caucasian. The race is what you are, you know, whether you're white, black, Hispanic, whatever, Middle Eastern, whatever. That's a race.
Mm-hmm.
The faith is a faith.
Right.
Am I wrong in this?
No, you're not.
No.
There's a difference between ideology and ethnicity.
Yeah.
You know, if you're from the Middle East, you're Iraqi, you're Irani, you're Kuwaiti, whatever Turkey,
Caucasian.
whatever's in the middle there, Egyptian, that's a race or ethnicity. The same as again, if you're from Jerusalem or Israel, you're Israeli. You're not just Jewish, you're Israeli.
Right.
You know, Sammy Davis Jr., perfect example. Is he two races? Or was he two races? Because he was black and he was Jewish. You know, so which is he? If Jew is a race and not just an ideology, which was Sammy Davis Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
It's an ideology. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it being an ideology, but let's stop pretending that having a problem with an ideology is somehow racist because that ideology now is considered a race.
Right.
Yeah, I call a penguin, so call it what it is, right?
Now, what really pisses me off about this isn't so much that the ISIS bride wants to return, because that's already been talked about.
Right.
That's been talked about to death. But the fact that there's a judge here actually trying to overturn the fact that she was denied access back to the United States justifiably because she gave up her citizenship.
Yep.
Which, by the way, as far as I understand it, UK did the exact same thing with the other broad. Venus, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Canada do the exact same thing as well?
I'm not sure about that.
I'm not sure about the Canada one, but I know UK turned away, and the United States absolutely turned away. Is this judge just looking to be politically correct?
Oh, I think he's literally stupid.
I don't know. I don't see, because I don't know what the fuck people are thinking anymore. It makes no fucking sense to me.
Like, is this a human rights issue? Because it has nothing to do with human rights. I mean, her right was to do what she did. So now she deserves a cookie for it? Or...
Yes.
Like, what's going on?
Yes. In a simple answer, yes. Human rights or not, she chose to give up her citizenship to join a terrorist organization at war with the country she left. Yes,
well,
human rights issue or not, she made her bed, lie in it.
Like, isn't that the legal rights? Like, that you have to suffer the consequences of your actions?
Well, the legal rights would be she'd be treated as a traitor. She's taken to Gitmo, locked up with all the other extremists, and then sooner or later faces the firing squad, which is what you do to traitors.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have to give her sympathy.
Quite
sympathy
honestly,
for what?
Quite
you
honestly,
made your bed, you lay in it.
Quite honestly, the more humane thing is we'll let you live, just not here.
Right.
Yeah, exiled from the country.
That is the more humane thing. If you want to talk about a human rights issue, that's more humane. Because quite honestly, I think she needs to be made an example of. I think she needs to, especially in this country that with the rise of socialism and everything else, and this ideology of wanting to destroy. Well, first and foremost, I can't believe I have to say this again. The United States of America is not a goddamn democracy. We're not a democracy. It is not mob rule. We are a constitutional republic. We are bound by the laws of the Constitution handed down by the forefathers who have created this country and made it an independent nation. The end. The end. There is no democracy. There is no mob rule. The reason the Electoral College is there to overrule the popular vote is because if you leave it to the mob, the only people who would have a vote is California, New York, Chicago, and fucking Florida. And guess what? They're all Democratic, highly liberal, left-wing states. Every other state, their voice would be silenced. That is why there is an electoral college. That is why when things happen, yes, the president has the power to veto the Senate, but the Senate represents the people. They are our voice, or at least that's what they're supposed to be. That is how a republic works, through the representatives of the people of the United States of America.
Oh,
Can
did
we-
you see that IOC post that she tweeted the other day? I'm
What?
gonna look it up right now for you.
Oh, while you're looking it up, can we
Yeah.
please get off this concept that America and democracy means that everybody can say and do whatever they please, whenever they please, and that the loudest voices win? No. Yes, America has freedoms under the Constitution, but at the end of the freaking day, it is not mob rule and majority win. It is the will of the people under the power of the President of the United States of America, the office of the President. And that will of the people is heard through our representatives in government, through the Senate. And that if we don't like it, it is a vote where everybody's voice matters, which is what the Electoral College is for. If there was no Electoral College, places like Kansas, for example, it's a big state, but it doesn't have a very big population. Their voices would be lost. Small places like Vermont and Rhode Island, their voices would be completely lost. Hawaii, the voice would be completely... Alaska, voice would be completely lost. That's why there's an Electoral College.
Okay, so quick question: who is James Woods?
James Woods is an actor.
He's an actor. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So here's what Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez posted. She said, "Yep, if you don't like the hashtag Green New Deal, then come up with your own ambitions on scale proposal to address the global climate crisis. Until then, we're in charge, and you are just shouting from the cheap seats."
Right.
So James Wood says, "So you may have missed this, but the way it works in America is you work for the U.S. The last time somebody told Americans to sit down and shut up was 1776. If you ever learn to read, look it up. You are not only an idiot, you're an arrogant idiot, and there's nothing more dangerous."
And he's not wrong. He's not
No.
wrong. The last ones to tell Americans that we can't do something and that we need to sit down and shut up was Britain. Ask them how that worked out.
So isn't she in the Senate or something?
Yeah.
She's a senator, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the people that's working for the American people. So like,
no.
but then you have a
She's working
president-
for 14,000 people.
Well, she's working for a lot more because, again, there's enough idiots out there who actually believe in the ideologies that her and Sanders unapologetically push into our
Yeah,
society.
we're in control, and you guys are nobodies. That's pretty much what she said.
And she's proving
Like,
beyond a shadow of a doubt that if America ever did become a socialist country, that it would automatically, democratic socialism would automatically become communism. They've already just proven it. Her own words. I'm in charge until you're in charge. Sit down and shut up.
Yep.
I actually got
Yep.
22 shares on this picture.
That is the literal mindset of the American democratic socialist. It's really the mindset of the liberals, but especially in this radical group, which it staggers the mind that anybody would ever embrace this. Oh, America was never founded as a capitalist country. Really?
The problem is, look, the problem is at this point, Democrats are, and the socialists know this, the Democrats are at the point now where they'll vote for anybody as long as it's not Trump. So to them, this is the perfect time to be able to try to slip something like this through. Oh, anybody but Trump, they'll vote for us. They'll vote for us even if we're socialists. So this is the time for us to get in there. No matter what, we're going to have a vote because everybody hates Trump. That's what it is. That's why you're seeing so much of this socialist shit now. And it's because they think they have a chance to finally get in there because it's not Trump.
Well, let me ask you guys a question, because we all know this, and Venus, you could definitely be the objective third party, being a Canadian, but in this statement. But at this point, with 2.5 years in under the Trump presidency, now I don't care which side of the aisle you sit on, whether you're liberal or conservative, whether you're Republican or Democrat. Let's be real. The hearings going on right now, they've wasted 2.5 years of taxpayers' dollars looking for a Russian collusion that did not exist. And now they're trying to push this impeachment of Trump, again, with nothing to show for it. Oh, he gave hush money to a stripper long before he was president. Okay, if that's even remotely true, cool. It was before he was president. That's not conduct unbecoming. Russian collusion, proven false. Hell, we're threatening another war with Russia right now. Is there no other proof that there's no collusion with Russia? Russia wants to kick our ass because Trump won't give them what they want. Come on. I mean, does it take... The question I have for you guys, for the objective third party and for somebody else, when does this witch hunt stop being a media circus and start being treason? When do we start, as the American people, start turning around saying, look, now you're just trying to stage a coup against the President of the United States of America that is unconstitutional, which means it goes against the United States of America, which makes it a treasonous act. It's a mutiny. Am I wrong?
Because people aren't attacking Trump directly, like they have politicians doing that. But that's a politician's job, right? You're supposed to be able to scrutinize other politicians. That's your job. But then they literally have citizens walking around and assaulting citizens, which now it's not really a political, well, I mean, it's got a political backing and a political reason to do it, but it's citizen against citizen. So is it really treasonous now, or is it just an assault fueled by politics?
Well, see, I agree with that, and we'll definitely get into that in a minute here. But what I'm meaning is, like, right now with the Senate sitting down to have a hearing, with the liberals trying to come up with a way of impeaching Donald Trump as president of the United States of America, with nothing. Nothing. The only thing right now they have, and it's not even whether they have it or not. It's just the only thing that hasn't been disproven thus far, is Donald Trump's tax returns, which, quite honestly, is none of their fucking business. But the fact of the matter is, that's the only thing that hasn't already been disproven over and over and over again, but yet they still push this narrative forward. And with the attacks in the media, with the constant, like you said, with the citizens being bombarded with false information 6 ways from Sunday, to the point that it's created a violent division within the country and everything else. When does the President of the United States and the lawmakers of this country turn around and say, you know what, this has gone too far. This is no longer an investigation into the president. This is a coup and a rise to power, and it has to be stamped down. When does it become criminal activity by the Democratic Party?
Well, Donald Trump Jr.
We can't hear you, Brian. I saw your mouth move, but no vocals. Nothing.
Yeah, so...
Sorry, go ahead, Venus, while he's trying to figure out what happened to his mic.
Okay, yeah, his camera was going off and on for a while, too. But, yeah, so Donald Trump Jr. is actually standing up and, like, putting a lot of people in their places. But now he's being, like, labeled as rude and unconventional and whatnot. Like, look at fucking Hillary Clinton. Like, Jesus. He's not even doing half as much as what she's doing. Like, he's sitting there, he's putting out the facts, saying this is wrong, that's right, like, this is like that. You can't be doing this shit. And all of a sudden, he's being scrutinized for being a fucking criminal, pretty much. So they totally have people brainwashed about what they're looking at and what they're seeing and what they actually understand.
No, you're absolutely right on that, and you know, but what I'm trying to figure out is this still a constitutional investigation? Can it even be considered that anymore, or is it really just a media circus witch hunt? And as such, should it be considered trying to wrestle power away from the President of the United States of America, which by law is a mutiny? It's treason.
Well, it should be treated as treason then. Like, I wouldn't doubt it if Trump is just waiting, bring out all the dirt, do everything you got to do. Because once you guys are all done dishing it all out, then it's going to get dished right back on your fucking doorstep.
Still nothing from you, Brian. You might have to restart your Skype.
Oh, I hope not.
Oh, there you go. There you are.
So you can hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh.
I don't hope you
It's good
did.
timing.
I didn't click anything. I wonder if I got a short somewhere. I don't know.
All right, well, now you can speak your mind.
To be honest, I really wasn't paying attention. I was trying to figure out what the fuck was wrong with my mic. But no, I remember you saying something about trying to take Trump out of office. No, at this point, it's just they're still just pissy because they were so cocksure Hillary was going to win, and then they were embarrassed. The American people embarrassed them, and God forbid you embarrass the in front of the world. And that's exactly what it was. When Time is running magazines with Madame President a week before the election on it, and then all of a sudden, oh fuck, well, Donald Trump is our president. That's all it is. And it goes back to society. You know, I always say it. We live in a society where nobody knows how to lose anymore. Everybody gets participation trophies. Oh, guess what? Nobody lost because everybody's winners. That's all it is. You know? And Cory Booker right now is trying to do away with the Electoral College. And I pray to God he fucking does it. And I pray to God that when 2020's election rolls around, Donald Trump wins with 100 million fucking votes. Then what the fuck are you going to say? Oh, the popular vote was fucking false. This isn't the way we should be doing that. Fuck off. When does it become criminal? It already is. It's just you've got to convince enough of the American people to stand up and physically remove them from office and tell them, you're done. I don't give a fuck anymore. This is treason. You are fucking done.
Well, let me ask you this question then. Is part of the reason that Donald Trump and the GOP haven't taken it to that point and said, look, it's treason, you guys are done, and remove you from office, military force, whatever the case may be, because it would be taken as a totalitarian act where like they're afraid that the American people and of course the liberals firing it and of course the media firing it up to make it seem like, see, it's a coup, we told you he's taking over, as opposed to, well, we had this coming because we were literally trying to steal the government
That's exactly
away.
what it's going to be. That's exactly what it's going to be. And the thing is, not enough people in this country know what the fucking Constitution actually says. And I've got a copy of it. I bought a copy of it Saturday. I got there was like a rolled up thing. I got the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence all in the same thing. And it looks like it's on parchment paper and shit.
Right.
I'm going to get them framed and put in my fucking house. But not enough people even know what the fuck it says. You know? And so whenever somebody tries saying, well, what Trump did was unconstitutional, you don't even fucking know. You don't even fucking know. So if you are able to educate enough people in this country, and the Constitution's not that long, fucking read it. Do yourself a favor and fucking read it.
Google
you
it.
read that.
It's a favorite
Google,
word.
just
Google
anything. Well, I wouldn't even Google it because you're going to get some fucking liberal altered version of it if you try Googling it.
True.
Download some PDF file.
Yeah, no, you can get this motherfucking thing. Get it. Fuck, it's available to everybody. I paid $9 for all three of these fucking things I'm going to put up in my house. $9 for all three of them. Doesn't make any sense. But anyway, you educate enough people and you show them, no, look, this is treason. This is what they've been doing. This is hypocrisy. We're going to end it. And you send enough people to Washington with, armed, with guns, and you walk in and you say, you're out. And it's not just Democrats, it's Republicans too. There are Republicans that have committed treason.
Right.
And you look at every single one of them, you're out, citizens arrest. And you've got enough sheriffs coming forward now saying we are not going to disarm citizens. Because apparently the order is coming down that they need to start disarming citizens, and they're not fucking doing it. You start getting sheriffs involved and other politicians and you start getting these people involved, shit's gonna change. You start throwing these motherfuckers in jail and not letting them out until they actually have a fucking trial, and you get every bit of evidence possible on them. Everything. Do you have any idea? As soon as you execute the first fucking traitor, do you realize what's gonna fucking happen? Everybody's gonna straighten the fuck up like that.
Oh, they're not. They're not even going to straighten up like that. We are going to see an outflooding of information that has been hidden since the inception of the fucking country out of both parties. Because I guarantee you, everybody will be fucking ratting on everybody to save their own ass.
Well, you won't even have to, because they're all so fucking interconnected that you take one down, you're taking them all.
It really is. And all right, let me ask you this, because this is something that has really kind of like racked my own consciousness. I know we're supposed to be going into the subject of who is the real racist in America, but this really could lead to America's next civil war.
It's gonna.
I'm
surprised it hasn't already. Right now we're in the middle of a civil war, but it's a cold civil war.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but it could lead to an actual armed conflict, which, quite honestly, looking at the other side, I'm not worried.
Bring it the fuck on, motherfuckers. I don't know. Dare you.
I don't know.
I double dog dare you, bitches.
There's some patriotism right there.
I wish a bitch would. Fucking try it. Come on.
That's it. That's it. I said the same. How many times have you seen me repost something about like some liberal want to do this, they want to do that, and it's like, please try. That's all I say is please try. I'm begging you. Please try.
You come to my fucking doorstep and try to take my gun.
Mm-hmm.
You can have it bullets first. You can take it.
I am begging you to try. I will not throw the first punch, but I guarantee you I will throw the last.
I will throw the last, yep. And I will take as many of you motherfuckers with me as I can. You fucking mark my words.
But
I've always like...
Go ahead, sorry.
I've always like told myself, like, damn right, I'll be one of the first ones to throw the first punch. Like, what are you gonna do? Stand there and be one of those like bickering fucking dudes who's like, hit me, hit me, hit me. Yeah, motherfucker, I'll hit you. You don't even need to give me the invitation. Like, if I feel threatened or if you're gonna do something wrong to me, you're fucking right. I'll hit you. I'll lay you the fuck out. Like, I'm not gonna wait for you to hit me first or something. Like, bring it on. Like, no, the second you get on my face, it's brought on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, for us, especially with the laws of the world, most of us will, or of the world, of our country, you have the right to defend yourself. You do not have the right to attack others. Right. So that's why we won't throw the first punch. We don't want to be the one that is the aggressor. We want to be the defender. So I'll instigate the shit out of you to swing at me, just so I have the right to swing back.
But that's a lesser too. But if you're the guy who gets hit first and you beat the living fuck out of the guy who hit you, you're still going to be the guy who gets in trouble.
Well, it depends on the severity. Yeah. If it was necessary for subduing and securing your own safety and defense, then you could break bone.
Well,
but it has to be justified.
Right. Kansas, where I live.
In Canada, we can't do that.
Really?
Sorry.
That doesn't surprise me, actually. That shouldn't surprise me at all. Kansas, where I live, it's a constitutional carry state. I can put my gun on my hip. I don't have a permit to conceal carry. You have to have a permit to conceal carry. But you have constitutional carry, which means I could just put my holster on my hip and fucking walk down the street and nobody can say a fucking word to me. Nobody can say a goddamn word. I mean, the police will probably stop and go, that guy has a gun. You know what I mean? Because not everybody just walks with a fucking gun on their hip nowadays. You know what I mean? This isn't the fucking Wild West. But I could legally do that. They can say, hey, what's with the gun? No, just defending myself if anything were to ever happen.
I'll tell you
and they can't do a fucking thing about it.
Tell you what, if everybody walked around with a gun on their holster like the Wild West, there'd be a hell of a lot of less offended people in this world.
Yes, bring back duels. That's how we're gonna fix shit.
Duels are legal in Canada.
Is it legal?
It's fucking legal in Canada. Yeah, like seriously, like some like liberal lippy little motherfucker on the other side of the internet got in with me, and I'm like, buddy, like if you really want to go at it, like. Fine, let's duel. And he's like, you can't do that. I'm like, yeah, you're fucking right, I can. It's the law, it's legal, and I just challenged you to it, so what are you going to do? Like, you pretty much have to duel. That's like the laws of dueling, is that you have to fucking duel, you little punk bitch. And he's
That's
like,
how our president should be chosen.
I'm like, Hez will fucking roll, you fucking Antifa little cocksucker. Like, let's go. Well, I'm fight a girl. You just fought a girl for the past 3 hours over the internet, and now you're too fucking macho to fight me in real life? Don't worry about it. Like one fucking swipe and your head would be gone. Okay, like I'll go full ISIS.
This is how the president of the United States should be chosen from now on. We'll do the vote, right? And for every 10 million votes you get a bullet. And then that's how many bullets you have to kill the other motherfucker, right? And then you put them in a street together, a hallway together, and you say, go at it. We'll give you about 6 to 7 minutes, and we'll come back in and check and see how it's going. And whoever's left standing, we'll show you to the Oval Office. That's the way it should be fucking done.
Dude, you just turned a tradition of elections into fucking let's make a deal.
I did. I love it.
But no,
yeah, you have to shoot, and then the other guy can't. Well, then once you shoot, you can't shoot again until the other guy shoots you. So if you miss, chances are you're going to be the one shot.
Musket balls. Give them musket balls. then it's God deciding who's going to be president.
No, there you go. The winner of the votes gets the automatic weapon. The loser gets a fucking black powder.
Make it happen, Captain.
All right, but here, serious question. All jokes aside here, with the rise of the possibility of a civil war, like you said, it's a cold civil war right now. But if it goes into a violent conflict, as ex-military, you and I both are, we're sworn an oath that has never expired to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yeah.
We have taken that oath, and we have never been relieved of that oath.
If
it came down to Democrats versus Republicans, liberals versus conservatives, which is really what the Civil War would be, whose side do we stand on? As the president, sure, but here's the question. Let's say the liberals in the Senate get the military. Do we stand against our own brothers and sisters because of the fact that it is the Constitution? Where would we stand?
Okay.
Does it? Isn't the army like sworn to the presidency?
No, it's sworn to Americans.
Country?
It's sworn to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States, not the president.
Okay, well, considering that the president is trying to do that, and I mean, Democrats are just their fucking head, like, wouldn't they have to make a decision at that point, like whose side they're going to be on?
If the liberals and the Democrats had the military, and we had to choose a side, I'm fighting them, because at that point you have, even if I was part of even if I was still active duty army, and the Democrats and the liberals were in charge of the military, we would go into full-on civil war. My job is still to defend the Constitution, and what they're doing is not constitutional. I don't have to obey unlawful orders. That's one of the things where you can still defend the Constitution and choose not to fight for the side that's telling you how to fight. That's when you have to start looking at your personal beliefs and your personal convictions and your morals and trying to decide what is actually the best thing to do. And in that case, you fucking haul ass, you join a militia, and you fight the other fucking side. And anybody who's fighting for them, no, at that point they've made their decision. You know?
Well, that's where I was going with it. Like Venus is right. In this particular scenario, as it stands right now, if war broke out today, we would stand with the president, because the president right now is 120% within the Constitution.
Absolutely.
As it stands. But my question was, like, if the Civil War broke out, and what would probably cause this Cold War Civil War to become a full-on violent civil war would be if the Democrats actually decided to actively create a coup, an uprising, and forcibly take over the government. In which case, in that scenario, that's where they would gain control of the military, because now they control the government. And as such, yes, the soldiers would have a major dilemma. The active duty soldiers and sailors and everybody else would have a serious dilemma of, do I follow my superiors? Or do I follow the Constitution? Because that uprising obviously wasn't constitutional. Obviously, they have something they've got to deal with. Us, though, we're no longer active duty, but we are still under the oath of enlistment. We will never. The day our oath ends is the day we died.
Right.
So
That's it. I'm sending my kid to the U.S. Army. She's enlisting at 18.
Hey, he'll grow up right. I'll say that much.
3 hots and a
For
cot and
sure.
a guaranteed job.
Yep.
Actually, I was going to enlist at 16. Well, I was just 15 and I wasn't old enough to do that, but I used to go right in beside the Army in Sudbury. And they're like, what are you doing? No, I'm just running. It was like a few months before my birthday. But they wouldn't let me join, so I was like, fuck it.
So yeah, that was something that always sat with me. It's like, you know, obviously it's a moral issue in the sense of like, you know, which side do you support? But at the end of the day, it's like the Constitution is true morality because the Constitution doesn't have a side. The Constitution is the law.
Right.
So if it came down to it of like, do I stand with President Trump who has done nothing unconstitutional, or do I stand with, for lack of better term, somebody like AOC, who I know is unconstitutional, but believes they're acting in the best interests of the United States, for whatever reason, where should I stand? What would be the correct choice as somebody who is sworn to uphold? Of course, personally, I'm going to stand with Trump.
Yeah.
Because, again, the Constitution is factual, and Trump has not broken those facts. The Democrats have.
Wait,
Okay, so
would you have to
here's
stand with either of them, though? Or could it be like a mutiny? It's like, no, I'm true to like the Army and my word, and both of you guys are fucked up, so we're not listening to either of you two. And we're just going to keep our guns loaded and ready in case you guys try and pull some other shit.
Again, it kind of depends on how the situation presents itself.
Here's what the oath of enlistment actually is.
Yeah,
Okay?
go ahead, read it.
It says, and you and I both took this oath. It says, you say your name,
Right.
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice, so help me God. The regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice, that's lawful, unlawful orders. You don't have to follow an unlawful order. Lawful orders only.
But you see where the dilemma was, because we still have to execute the orders of the office of the president or
Right.
officials over us, which
But
would be
if-
the Senate,
If
which
the
would be
officials
the
over you are following this oath of enlistment, they too should realize we are with the president. We have to. The president is the commander in chief,
right.
so you don't have to worry about Congress taking control of the military. That's not going to fucking happen. The president is the commander in chief. But if your higher ups are actually, holy shit, and those pictures are from Fort Bliss too. That's where I was stationed. Old Ironsides. That's the same fucking division I was with. Anyway, I was just looking at the background picture for the oath of enlistment. That's this Old Ironsides. That was my fucking brigade. They should be doing, if they're doing their job right, they're not taking people's guns. They're not taking away the constitutional rights. If they're not doing their job right and they're not adhering to that oath of enlistment, they should be removed. That's all there is to it.
There it is.
There you go.
Signed, sealed, and delivered. So,
That's it.
guys, I just want to let you know, if the Civil War ever comes and you want to know where people stand, anybody who has taken that oath of enlistment, if they've taken it seriously, that's where they stand. But now it brings up to another conversation that we were going to have. We'll get this one out because that was the whole entire point of this episode, and we've ignored this one completely.
We'll get it.
There has been a major rise in this country, again, going back to, like Venus was saying earlier, about attacks on people because of stupid hats or being... Let's call it what it is. In this country right now, and it's happening in Canada too, but it's very predominant in the United States right now, there is a fight against natural-born, straight, white Christian males. But there's a war against Caucasians in general right now. I'm going to call it what it is. Okay, and by no means am I a white supremacist. I'm not saying that we're unjustifiably this, that, or the other, and blah 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 blah. No, this is factual. When you're battling people because they're Trump supporters, and even if they're black or Hispanic or woman or whatever, oh, you're a white nationalist or you're an Uncle Tom because of it. It is a war on it. When everybody and every person of color can be as racist as they want to be to a white person, and it's not considered racist, but if even right now with me speaking out against it, will label me a racist, even though I am by no means a racist. There's a problem in this country. The word racist has lost its meaning. It has lost its way. It is an ugly, terrible thing that should not exist and really didn't exist anymore. Yes, there were small groups of black supremacists and white supremacists still within this country. I'm not going to say there wasn't. Racism wasn't completely dead, but it was nowhere near as predominant as it seems to be in this culture today. Mm-hmm. But here is my question. Who is the true racist? Is it the white conservative male who happens to support Trump? On average. Not the alt-right. Fuck them. We know they're fucking racist pieces of shit. Fuck them. But the average person, somebody like Brian who does wear a MAGA hat, supports the President of the United States, I know for a fact he's not a racist. But in this culture, he's a racist. Is he truly a racist, or is it the ones that are trying to make everything that goes against what they believe in racist? Who's the true racist, and who's the ones that's really creating the racial issue within this country?
The word racist doesn't even have a bite anymore. It doesn't. I've been so desensitized to the word racist now. I get called a racist, I don't give a shit anymore. I don't give a fuck anymore. But then when you have real racists come along, you can't even call them a fucking racist because they just laugh in your fucking face. Like, it's just...
Well, see, I care because I disagree with you. You're not wrong that it's lost its power. It's lost its meaning because it's used for everything under its sun. But I do care. And the reason I care is because I don't want to be lumped in with these hateful fucking people.
Yeah.
They are very evil people who actually believe in racism, that they're superior to some other person because of skin color or station in life. These are evil fucking people, and they should be ostracized. They should be beaten down. They should be exercised from our society. I absolutely agree with that. But to use it as a political platform to claim that because my skin has less melanin than yours, that I have some sort of privilege, or that I've held down your people in some way, shape, or form, even though I have never done anything to neither of my family in any way, shape, or form, nor have I exhibited that type of behavior in any way, shape, or form, how dare you lump me into that group of people?
Yep.
Well, you were born white, it's a crime.
Yeah, that's the way it is today. You know, if you're born white, you're automatically an oppressor. You're in this country they like to use the word colonizer. You're privileged and your own privilege. Even if you buy into their bullshit and say, you know what, I do have white privilege and everything else. How can I fix this? You can't. You're still a racist. Even if you're on our side, you're still a racist. They've made a no-win scenario for anybody who doesn't want to be labeled this. So you wind up becoming, like Brian said, where you no longer give a fuck. How does this fix the problem? How does Brian no longer giving a shit about being called racist fix the racism in this country? It doesn't. But the question is it more racist for me to call out the fact that these things are false accusations against most people? Like the white kids that yes, were guilty of being arrogant little pricks, you know, and the MAGA hats with the supposed Native American Vietnam War veteran and the black Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, were they arrogant little pricks? Absolutely. Were they racist? No. The ones that were aggressive against them, they were, but you can't say that. Because I said that, I'm a racist. Or look at the video of the one black kid who attacked the kid because he's got a MAGA hat on in the school hallway, ripped the flag out of his hand, using the N-word every which way from Sunday at him, bullied him into submission.
Yep.
They don't attack the black kid for putting his hands on the white kid. They attack the white kid because he wore a Trump hat.
And you want to know something? I'm waiting for the day somebody does it to me.
Oh, I'm
because I wish a bitch would. He's suing Washington Post for $250 million.
Good.
He's suing him for $250 million, and all of the other networks that he's suing combined comes up to like 11 point some odd billion dollars. And he's already said that if he gets every penny of it, he's donating it all to the wall.
Good.
I know. That's fucking genius. You're gonna make the Washington Post and Alyssa Milano pay for the fucking wall? That's a win-win-win. What the
God,
fuck?
Alyssa Milano.
That bitch.
But the fact of the matter is not only is like what is the true racist that's creating the division in the country, but how do we fix it? How do we stop this nonsense?
You can't, man.
That is
you
my
can't kill an
question.
idea. Look, as racism does exist, but it's not nearly as rampant as the left would have you believe.
No,
It's
nowhere
not
near.
nearly as rampant. Because if it was as rampant as they say it is, I would look out my window right now and see a white guy beating the shit out of a black guy in the street right next to my house. If it was as rampant as they said it is. And it's not. Racism does exist, but not to that degree. And you can't kill an idea. It's impossible to kill an idea. There's always going to be somebody who's, I don't like black people. And obviously they wouldn't say black people. But you can't, you can... I thought we almost had it obliterated.
We did.
I thought we had it almost down to nothing.
We did.
Pretty much.
We did. We had a world.
Don't
where
we still?
We had a world where cultures were combining together. Relationships were becoming heavily interracial. We were beating the systematic racism, as they like to throw out there. We were beating it. And then Obama was coming out of office. And he was replaced by an orange guy.
Hawaiian Canyon, yep.
Let's put it down to its essentials. What started the racism in America? Obama was no longer president.
That's another thing. Look, if racism is so fucking rampant, how the fuck did Obama get two terms? Are you fucking kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
If racism was so rampant and just running crazy as the left to have you believe, how the fuck did we have a black president 2 terms? Who the fuck voted for him? Was it like everybody who voted for him just magically turned around and went, oh, well, fuck black people, I'm going to vote for that white guy now? Like,
What the heck?
really?
No.
Yes, I mean, you face it up there in Canada. I mean, is it as bad as like it pretty much is becoming down here in the United States?
Well, you know what? You hear about it all the time, and you hear like we have a yellow vest movement, and everyone who supports yellow vest is racist and far right. Like, there's people that like immigrated from all parts of the world of these yellow vest movements, and then we have Antifa that's like, oh, you guys are all racist and stuff, and they're like attacking old men and everything. Like, my landlord came from Africa. Like, he was in my apartment, like, fixing my lights and stuff. Like, we had a decent conversation. And it was just interesting. Like, oh, cool, you were in Africa. Oh, yeah, and I went to Greece. And, oh, yeah, how was Greece? And I don't remember, like, a single, like, racist thing about it, just besides, oh, that black guy was fixing the lights. And then I found out he was my landlord, and I was like, oh, okay. But, I mean, I could have been like, you know, that, like, hick-looking dude or that hillbilly-looking dude. But, I mean, when you're, like, explaining someone you don't know, like, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Like, oh, you know, that guy with that accent or something? Or, you know, that girl with the purple hair? But, no, like, I don't really see racism a lot. Like, I did see it quite a bit against, like, natives and stuff. But, I mean, I used to hang out with natives. Like, some of my best Facebook friends are natives. Like, I'm part native. I used to bring my kids to, like, native ceremonies and stuff and native meetings and everything. Like, a lot of people just some people just don't get along. I tried getting along with a feminist the other day, well, for a while, and I tried being friends with her. I just can't be friends with her. And, like, I hope all feminists aren't like that, but she was just fucking atrocious. Like, wanting to send me poop pictures and making lesbian comments towards me. And, like, what? Like, I totally was anti-feminist before that. And I'm like, you know what? Quit being a bitch to everyone and, you know, just try to be nice. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this shit. But it has nothing to do with color or anything. It's the person themselves piss you off. So fuck them. Like...
Well, see, what brought this up and wanted me to make this as a subject matter and really discuss this was our good friend Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez during this
Donkey.
You know,
Gosh, white people need to stop having babies and get more abortions. Well, okay, that's cool. The government cut funding for abortions in the States. Didn't Trump do that? But he also put more money into adoptions and whatnot. More white people need to stop having babies. More fucking donkeys need to shut their fucking mouths, okay? Like, hee haw, ho, you fucking honky ho.
Yeah, that was and that's an exact quote. More white women. How is that not
need
racist?
to get abortion.
It's kind of my point where I was going with Cortez. During this whole entire Trump hearing, this witch hunt, the Republicans were intending to bring a former staff member of President Trump, who was, I believe, a black woman, to the stand as proof. She volunteered. She wanted to do this to prove that Donald Trump has never in any way, shape, or form treated her, or has she ever seen him treat anybody who was a person of color in a racist or disrespectful manner. You know, and you would think, hey, great, a black lady wants to come up and defend this guy. And, of course, Ocasio-Cortez took to Twitter and claimed that that in itself is an act of racism, with you claiming that you have black people on your staff and then parading them around is the definition of token racism. So now even with black people who wish to defend a white person, that's not them coming to the defense of somebody who is not a racist. No. That is a racist using a person of color as a token. Basically, Ocasio-Cortez just called this woman a token N-word. Mm-hmm. Is really what she did. She's disregarding her experiences. Well, that's not very feminine. What? Oh, good lord! All that. Oh, what is that? Oh my god! Sorry. Hypocrisy.
That one quote I heard the one quote I heard one time was like, "All feminist women like women until they meet a conservative woman."
Right. You know, feminist women. The feminist movement, a perfect example. Feminist movement, the third wave feminists, believes that women are equal to men, which is true. Actually, nowadays, third wave feminists believe that women are superior to men, and in turn have the rights to decide to be whatever they want to be. They have the ability, they have the talent, they have the brains and everything else to be whatever they want to be. You can never tell a woman she can't be what she wants to be. And then comes a woman that says, I want to be a housewife and be good to my husband. You're a traitor. You are not a true feminist. That's what she wants to be. How
she doesn't want to be a feminist.
How is that
I don't want to be a
wrong?
feminist.
You know, if a woman wants to be Donna fucking Reed, how is that not furtherment to her as an independent, strong woman?
Because it ruins their agenda of this is how it has to be. Well, once you have one person that says, well, I don't want to do that, and you're not part of them, then you're against them.
I don't get it. I don't get how people buy into this. They talk out of both sides of their mouths, and neither side meets in the middle to create a fully functional sentence. Yep. Feminism, women can be whatever they want, but you can't be a housewife.
Mm-hmm.
You are not a racist if you're helping people of color, but if those people of color come to your defense, they're tokens.
Yep.
I mean,
that's why That's why as soon as I usually start to have a conversation with a leftist, and as soon as they start talking about racism, I already don't fucking take you seriously. I can't take anything else you say fucking seriously. Because all it does is proves ignorance and hypocrisy. That's all it is. As soon as the word racist gets thrown around now, instantly come to mind. Nope, you're a hypocrite.
Look, I watched.
See, like,
I watched a lecture. It's a couple years old. I watched a lecture from Milo Yiannopoulos. Okay, now for those who don't know, Milo is very much a conservative extremist lecturer. He likes to stir the pot. Mm-hmm. Okay, he's not as so much factual as somebody like a Ben Shapiro. He's closer to an Alex Jones. Okay, in a sense of like what he says may not be
I'm gonna
true.
Be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
What he says may or may not be factually accurate. In fact, more often than not, it usually is factually accurate to the facts. But the way he delivers it is sensationalism. Mm-hmm. You know, so he would be considered like a far right. But he's also a British gay man who's married to a black man. Yet these idiot liberals come up to him and call him a white supremacist. Of course, his response is, "Do you realize how much black dick I've had in my mouth?" You know what I mean? They call me a black supremacist or a white supremacist. You know, like his husband is at home. Blacker than midnight black guy, but he's a white supremacist. And again, if he turns around and says my husband's black, well, he's a token. How is that not racist?
it totally is.
How is that argument in its own right not racist? You are dismissing a person because their agenda doesn't fit yours, and you're making them less valuable than another person of that same race because their value is different than yours.
Mm-hmm.
How is that not the definition of racism? So who's the real racist? The Donald Trump or the idiot that's calling Donald Trump a racist?
Mm-hmm.
You know, who's the more
Do
racist?
people even know what they're talking about?
They don't. They don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. I've lost track of my own point because it's so freaking frustrating.
I'm just offended, so you're wrong.
In this day and age, in 2019, it has been 60 years since Martin Luther King's march, the civil rights movement. It has been 200 years, well, not less than 200, but still
right
around about 200, since the abolishment of slavery and everything else. How is this still a fucking thing?
Well, bitch is lumbering at the past.
Hang on here. I'm gonna look something up because I got a point I want to make here in a minute, but I want to make sure I got the right number. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. How is this in this day and age a fucking thing? Have we not reached a day and age where skin color is just skin color, where genitalia is just genitalia, that everybody is equal? Individuals, sure, but equal. That diverse cultures should be celebrated, not demolished. In this day and age, how is this not happening?
Well, because someone got pissed off, took a little fit, didn't get their trophy, went home crying, and, well, I'm going to take it to Twitter, and I'm going to take it to social media and degrade you and, like, demonize you to the world. And they're going to listen to me because I'm bitching about it and blah, 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 and everyone deserves to, like, be heard when they bitch and blah, blah, blah. It's stupid. Like, wow, you're good at, like, being on social media and you're good at relating to people because no one listened to you when you were bitching. Well, okay, well, the whole world's hearing me now, and I'm going to be a role model too. A role model for what? Suck it up, Buttercup. Like, you fucking lost. You didn't get your way. Deal with it. Change your fucking approach. Do something else. and maybe the big people will listen to you while you're sitting there and screaming and having a 3-year-old fucking temper tantrum.
Oh, and before Brian jumps into this, can I just point out that, in fairness, because something V said, most of the people on Twitter and stuff like that, the problem I have is that it's higher up than just your average American. But the problem is, majority of the most vocal ones that are calling people racist or xenophobic or Islamophobic or homophobic or transphobic, all the phobics they want to throw out there, and throwing racist, majority of them that are doing that are suburban white kids. Not all, like AOC we know is Hispanic descent, but I mean, majority of them are fucking rich boys and girls from the fucking suburbs.
Like, and when were these people ever racist towards anyone that they're calling racist? Or are they just making it a fight to be like, oh my God, that reminds me of that Amy Schumer when she's walking down in D.C. and has the fucking, like, her fist up for the fucking Black Power sign or whatever. You look like a fucking idiot, okay? Like,
apparently we can't do this anymore either.
Oh yeah, that somehow okay. The okay symbol where your index and thumb, I'm saying it for the radio people, where your index and thumb people are in a circle and you put up the other 3 fingers.
The okay hand. Sign.
Yeah, the okay sign. That somehow is a racist gesture now. Why? Because Donald Trump did it. That's the truth.
Meanwhile, everyone else is doing that. I think Obama did that how many times?
Hey, you know what? Trump ran for president, too. Does that make Bernie Sanders a fucking racist? Does that make Cory Booker a fucking racist?
Technically, by definition, Bernie Sanders hates fucking rich people, even though he is one. He's a self-hating racist.
He's nobody fucking takes him serious.
The problem is too many people take him serious.
Not.
Nobody fucking takes him serious.
I wouldn't discount him. I
am not worried.
Look. If Hillary Clinton didn't rig the DNC against him, he would have beat Clinton for the nomination. And I've said it before, and I will say it again: with the lazy Americans who believe in the bullshit of the democratic socialism, I wouldn't count him out. He's a threat. But he's not just a threat to Donald Trump. He's a threat to our way of life. He's going to die of old age
before he even gets to the presidency.
If we're fucking lucky.
I had my daughter ask me earlier, like, Mom, what's the difference between liberals and conservatives? I was like, well, liberals, they want to give everyone everything.
You know those kids that come to school in the short bus whenever you go to school? Those are liberals.
Well, she was telling me when I grow up, Mom, I want to be an actor. I was like, you know what? You can be whatever you want. Just don't be a liberal. And she was like, well, what is a liberal? And I was like, well, they want everything handed to them. They don't want to do anything in their lives. They demand that everyone pays for everything for them. They have a whole war on terrorism, and they're letting bad people into our country right now because it's racist not to. I don't want to get into too many details, about everything, about ISIS and everything, and all this crap. Her face just dropped, and she's like, well, maybe one day I'll change that. And I'm like, well, then maybe you should be a conservative. And she's like, what's that? I was like, well, they're a little bit meaner, but they make you work for your shit. They actually care about their country a little bit more. They don't tolerate this, you have to like someone because of this shit and whatnot. But they're mean. I was like, so either you be mean and you fix them, or you're not going to have anything to hold against them. Because, quite frankly, she's my little girl, and if she wants to have a liberal attitude and, pull the little 3-year-old fits and stuff, that's understandable. But then a conservative type of mom, just picturing this, so everyone can follow me here. And, as a parent, you got to be more conservative, walk in and be like, no, put your foot down and be the big meanie, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that's pretty much the difference that I had to give her, kids versus adults.
Well, here I'm about to be a mean conservative right now.
Oh, no.
People like my cousin, who is supporting the socialist movement, the democratic socialism, it's different from every other socialism because the other ones were Soviet in nature or communistic in nature, and democratic socialism is just giving stuff to the people that deserve it. Okay. Bernie Sanders' platform He wants to take money from the 1%, the top 1% of the top 1%. He is the top 1%. You want me to believe in democratic socialism being the change and difference? Bernie, put your money where your mouth is. Start dealing out your houses. Start dealing out your money to every
Where's my share of that
person,
$1,000,000 you made for your campaign,
poor person
motherfucker?
right now. Deal it out. Deal it out to the part-time McDonald's workers that are making minimum wage. I want to see you physically do that. I don't even want third-party shit. I don't want you handing it to a bank account and they dole it out. No, I want you to walk into McDonald's right now to the guy cleaning the fucking table, making $7.15 an hour, and I want you to hand him $300,000 fucking dollars, cash. No check, no paper trail. Just here's your money. Here's your share of what I've earned. Prove to me that's what you stand for. You do that, I'll support democratic socialism. Till then, it's an empty fucking word.
Yep.
That leads to the exact same end. Communism.
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead, Brian. You want to...
Oh, no, you're right. I was going to make a point earlier.
That's what I was saying. Go ahead about.
Yeah, no, okay. So America, right as of right now, is 242 years old.
Right.
I was curious, and I looked up the average length of governments, of empires, if you would, throughout history. And the average length of a civilization is about 349 years, about 350 years. We're about 100 years off from that. And that's the average. So we could actually be way lower than that and still fit in with that fucking model.
Right.
Is there going to come a point where America falls just because that's the natural progression of things?
Basically, are you asking, is Rome burning?
Is Rome burning? And is it destined to burn no matter what we do?
I don't know, because, I mean, yeah, on average civilizations, but, like, let's look at our neighbors across the pond. The monarchy, although it's now a parliament and is kind of having its own decline with its liberal agenda, but look at how long the British monarchy has stood.
Mm-hmm.
Unbroken.
Yeah.
You know, there are examples of civilization beating those odds. Now, I'm not saying we become a monarchy, but I'm just saying not every civilization has dropped in those types of things. I mean, even look at the older dynasties of things like China, like the Ming dynasties. They lasted for how many centuries?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and stuff. So, I mean, is Rome falling? Well, it absolutely seems like it's following the same course. You know, the Roman Empire fell pretty much the same way as America's setting up right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the mob rule mentality and then with totalitarian dictatorship, which later falls in, the loss of morals and the family value, which given way to orgies and I know I'm going to get shot for saying this, but like transgenderism and gender fluidity, all this happened in Rome at the end of days of the Roman Empire. Am I saying that's the exact thing that destroyed Rome? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if history repeats itself, we're repeating it right now.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. I tend to believe. I don't know what I believe. I hope that we can get this fucking train back on the tracks. Because right now we are derailing fucking hard. And I'm hoping we can get back on the tracks. But if we can't, what comes after this? If America is destined to burn at some point, right? What comes after it?
We go home.
I am home.
Ethically, we go home.
What do you mean?
I imagine people that were from descendants of Africans will go back to Africa. People who were descendants of Europe will go back to Europe. People that were descendants of Canada go back to Canada. We go home. This, which, by the way, this word really bothers me, but this great experiment of the United States falls. We go back to the civilizations that we all originally came from in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But America will rise again. Rome rose again. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
it's not the power it once was, but it rose again.
Right.
America will rise again. It won't be anything like it was. It may very well be a colony.
Right.
The United States may get swallowed up by Canada and Mexico.
Thanks, Venus.
Yeah, I can't really answer for you what comes after the fall of the United States, but I mean, life goes on.
Yeah.
It does make me wonder, though, what the world would look like without the United States, because we've been the police of the world for 200 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I actually saw a video on YouTube, and it was the world after the USA, like after the US like perishes to exist, and it actually seems like quite a calm and peaceful place. Like this was like I think 2 years ago. I mean things have like drastically changed since then, but the world was like a super peaceful place. Everyone minded their own business, like. Terrorism was at a halt because there's nobody being bombarded for their oil, and yeah, I don't know. Personally, I just think countries should break down into states or provinces. Like Kansas can be its own little state, and you just mind your own fucking business and leave Kansas alone. Or
cool with
Texas
that.
could be its own state, and Texas does what it wants, and you leave them the fuck alone. It's smaller populations. It's not billions of people anymore. It's a few thousands to a couple millions of people, and they do what's best for them. No one's gonna fuck with them, you know. You do your own thing. You live off your own land. You do it, whatever the fuck.
Well,
no one's gonna give a shit.
With this video that you watched, let me ask you a question because it has my curiosity. The countries of the world are more peaceful and everything else because the United States is no longer around. But did it address why? Is it because of the fact that everybody went back into seclusion and isolation from each other and their own little governments and their own little belief systems? Or is it because and you know they no longer had a common foe in the United States and their shining example of freedom?
What I think it was is the USA was on a self-destruct mode and destroyed itself.
That's
everyone just stood
about
by
true,
one.
yeah.
Right, but I'm
Everyone
saying as
just
far as
stood
the
by
rest of the world changing and becoming, is it because of the global utopia that we always hear about, or is it because the shining example of what we were, or at least the idea of us was, is no longer a threat to those countries?
No, everyone, the USA, just went on a self-destruct mode, and instead of any country stepping in, everyone just minded their own business, and it destroyed itself. Citizens killed each other, governments killed each other. I mean, everyone just ceased to exist, pretty much.
That sounds about
due
right.
to war, and nobody gave a shit. Everyone stood back and said, well, turned their head the other way.
That sounds about right.
Which actually seems kind of more plausible. And this movie was, I think it was a year old when I saw it. And this was about 2 years ago.
That's interesting. What's the name of the movie? Do you know?
I'll look for it now.
Okay, because I'd be interested in seeing that.
I would too.
But while she's looking that up, guys, we'll let you guys know what that is. While she's looking that up, guys, let's remember that it's time to wrap up the show. Let's remember that tomorrow night Venus will be hosting. It Had to Be Said. I will let her talk about the subject matter that she's going to have on it. But I will let you know that we will have a special guest on It Had to Be Said. And I'm actually really happy to say this. Brian, you know what I'm about to say.
Oh, yeah.
That we're returning to Realm of the Mist as a special guest, not permanently, unless she wants it to be, we could talk about it, but it's not in discussion at the moment, so don't take it as like she's returning to Realm of the Mist. But Christina Talley, hostess of That Trans Geek Girl, which used to be here on Realm of the Mist Entertainment, will be sitting in on the panel to have the discussion on this week's It Had to Be Said. And I'm thrilled to have her back. It's been a while since she's been around, It's going to be interesting to sit down and have a conversation with her again. It's going to be really cool. But while Venus is looking that up before she tells you about her show and everything else, Brian, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and what you're going to be up to this week?
You guys can find me at the Star Wars Canon Podcast. No, I'm just kidding. No, you guys can find me at the Star Wars Canon Podcast on YouTube. We're going live this weekend, Saturday, 8:30 Central Standard Time. It's going to be a really big episode, actually, because we haven't done one in like 3 weeks. So it's going to be a really big episode. I'm going to see if Chris wants to get in on this one if you're free this weekend. I'm going to see if I can get... Oh, man. Okay, well, fair enough. But we'll figure something out and make it a nice big show. I'm working on trying to get a special guest for it. But you guys can also find me at the Facebook page of the Star Wars Canon Podcast, as well as on War of the Stars with Mark and Chris, and right here on pretty much any of the shows for Realm of the Mist.
And, of course, you can find me right here on Realm of the Mist Entertainment, Realm of the Mist Podcast, War of the Stars, the Star Wars Podcast, which is heard every Wednesday. And, of course, you guys can find me on It Had to Be Said with Venus. It's her show, but I sit in the background and I pop in every so often. But I want to talk about Realm of the Mist Podcast. Next week, we are going to have a special guest on that as well. That is the comic book author that I was supposed to have a couple weeks ago, but he wound up ill. So Fred Swartz, the author of the new comic book, a local comic book called Hard Bodies, will be joining us on the panel to talk entertainment, politics, and also about his book. So make sure you're checking that out. And Venus. Oh, also, don't forget to check us out on Anchor.fm, Spotify, iTunes, and all the places you can hear podcasts, because we are there. And make sure you hit that little link down in the description below if you want to support these shows, you want to see them grow and prosper. The more you help, the more we provide, or the more we can get to provide a better show for you guys. So thank you very much in advance. Make sure you hit that support link. Venus.
Yes. Okay, so just looking at YouTube right now. So if you search on YouTube, The World Without America, there's like 5 videos I'm looking at just right at the top. I'll have to find exactly which one it is. Once I do, I'll post a link in the comments below. But you guys can check those out for now. They're like over an hour-long documentaries. 2.5 hours is one of them. Well, holy shit.
I know what I'm falling asleep to
7 hours
tonight.
and 11 minutes. So, yeah, you have to give me a few minutes to figure out exactly which one it is, but they all seem pretty interesting. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at, what is it, Central Time? Eastern Time?
Eastern Time.
Okay, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I got quite a few guest co-hosts to join me tomorrow, so this will be really interesting. Talking about internet safety for parents, shitty people with shitty behaviors, and what it means to be a real woman. So that'll be here tomorrow. And you can find me here. You can find me on Facebook, Venus Chan, or Skylar Nova's my backup account. Instagram is the same thing. And that's about it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, guys, thank you very much for joining us for Realm of this podcast. We'll see you next week, and make sure you're tuning in tomorrow for It Said, Wednesday for War of the Stars, and this weekend for Star Wars Canon Podcast. And eventually, we might pop out another after hours here or there. You never know.
Yeah.
We need a laugh here or there. Till guys, thank you very
sir.
much. Have a wonderful evening.